Ciao Ciao Doston, Ciao Ciao, Buonasera, good evening to all of you. Fantastic night for Param. Unfortunately, not a good night for Anubhuti's club Lazio. But overall, आज हम चर्चा करने वाले about Inter's performance in the Champions League. Lazio's exit, Fiorentina progressing to a third consecutive semi-final in the Conference League, and of course, we're going to be building up to this weekend of Serie A, Easter weekend of Serie A. So, thank you so much for joining us on this live stream. What's been happening, Param, Anubhuti?
Anubhuti, you can go first. I mean, of course, you have come to the channel after a long time, so you might as well take the floor before me. You're on mute. You're on mute.
Yeah, hi everyone. I was saying that I just noticed the choice of words. You can go first, and yeah, I mean, I think Lazio did that.
Good one. Good one.
But yeah, obviously, I mean, I'm wearing a Lazio black jersey because it's not really a very happy moment for being a Laziali, and that is talking about the last couple of weeks. You can say it's not one game. It's not just this game. It's this whole couple of weeks, or at least a week, has been a really difficult time being Laziali. There is a lot of reason to hope. There is a lot of optimism as well. There are flashes of brilliance that we saw from the team. There was the fighting spirit that we saw from the team in both the Bodo Glimt matches as well as the derby that we played. But
can I say one thing, Anubhuti? Lazio deserved to win the derby. Like, they were the better team. You guys were the better team on the night. I think it is just that because of Ranieri, and not losing to Lazio is the only reason why Roma held on, and obviously Miles Villar as well.
Yes,
We'll
as well
get to
as
the games. We'll get to the games, but let's see who all are in the chat first, because games to discuss hote rahenge. Mir says, "Yo, nice to have you, Mir, as always. Milanisti in the house. Rahul Singh also. Tanmay says hi. Fantastic night for Ajay Bhai as well, says Abhijay. Chris says, "Ciao Inter. You missed the joke, bro. You missed the joke." Shivam says hi. Nice to have you, Shivam, as always. Bodo and also back at it. Nice to have you, Bodo. And I think Lazio fans should be proud of the season, considering
This is true, though. This is true.
President after Maroni was appointed. The squad is wafer thin and they fought well. Yeah, I think मैं उससे agree करता हूँ, Bodo, and I think that is definitely I think a fair assessment. We can get to proper detailing in a bit, but I think the sentiment is fair. Castellanos was absolutely knackered. हाँ, मतलब yeah, you could see that the squad is not built for it. If मैंने थोड़े वीक्स पहले ही बोला था, अगर आप एक 38-year-old पेड्रो पे रिलाई कर रहे हो to be your starter week in week, then that's as good as he's done. That's not the solution. Plus, you don't. I mean, age is not the problem. I would say more than him being 38-year-old, the problem is उसके लिए आपके पास बराबर बैकअप नहीं है. And आपने वो लुइस एल्बर्टो के शूज भी fill नहीं किए, right? Because
that's what I said.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, again, age is not really the problem because sports science has evolved and everything. So these players know how to stay fit. You can ask Henrik Mkhitaryan how to stay fit. But the point being, definitely Lazio do have a thin squad. We'll get to all this. Let me just take the next two comments and we can start the discussion. I had Barca fan here and I fear Inter more than PSG. Like, okay, fair enough. Like, मैं तो चाहता हूँ लोग हमें downplay करें थोड़ा. I want Inter to be downplayed, but ये उल्टा ही हो रहा है थोड़ा. I mean, this is like a reverse effect.
Good one.
Just saying, if Lazio had gotten better Girona striker, things could have been different. And definitely, Bodo Glimt's keeper goes prime Buffon mode. So, keeper. So basically, their keeper has been actually one of the most underrated keepers in Europe for a while. Again, as someone who has seen this Bodo Glimt trajectory while doing my scouting course and everything, I mean, obviously Nikita Häkkinen करके उनके keeper का नाम, he's actually very underrated. And I was not at all surprised with the saves he made. जब penalties पे गया, even after Lazio made that comeback, I was just chatting with someone and मैंने उसको बोला Lazio हार रहा है penalties पे. मैंने बोला लिख के ले ले, Lazio हार रहा है. I mean, I'll probably show a screenshot in a bit. But because it's just that Lazio knackered but I just had too much confidence in Bodo Glimt going through. Sorry, Anubhuti. Bring back Immobile and Sergei Milinkovic. Bring back मतलब वो लोग छोड़ के गए ना भाई, वो लोग आने नहीं वाले वापस मतलब. And let me be honest, Bodo, and I think we'll get into this discussion with Anubhuti, but Immobile was done physically. Let me be very honest with you. He's doing well in the Turkish Super League, but the level of that league has dropped significantly. Michi Batshuayi plays well over there. So yeah, Michi Batshuayi plays well in the Turkish Super League. So you can, with all due respect, as much as I advocate for global football, Turkish Super League का level बहुत गिर चुका है. So it's not a finished, with all due respect, a physically finished Dries Mertens performs over there. With all due respect, so not the bar to be judging with. No, we don't want to downplay. So when can cook you guys? वो मेरा problem नहीं है ना भाई. वो मेरा problem नहीं है. But Ajay, where do you guys want to start?
Let's start with action from last night, which included Lazio and Fiorentina.
Yeah, we
Both
can
of them
start with
were
Lazio
still,
Fiorentina definitely.
yeah, both of them. Anubhuti, yeah, obviously you mentioned at the top a defeat at Bodo Glimt away from home. It's a place no one likes to go. Roma haven't won there. Milan have drawn there, if I'm not mistaken. They caused a lot of problem to Man United as well. So very difficult place to go. The Nordic, region, the Scandinavian region. These teams have affected us. What did you make of yesterday's game? I mean, I for one thought definitely Lazio would get back into the tie, knowing that the game is at the Olympico, and they did. But what went wrong, and what were your thoughts?
Uh, I think what you mentioned very correctly is that I think the whole series of events started with the first leg at Bodo Glimt, I think, and I would say decisions which were taken right from there to the next match, which was the derby, to what we saw, at the pitch yesterday. I think decisions in each of the games had an impact, and I would say, of course, it was a very short period of time in which Lazio were playing three very important games. But what I felt is during this period, I think Baroni could have prioritized the Europa League more,
You're
given the
right.
fact that this year you can say the claim to fame for Lazio has been the Europa League. Yes, we've done well in Serie A, absolutely, but we were honestly top of the, of the league standings when in the Europa League. In fact, if you look at all the newspaper headlines today, they're talking about Bodo Glimt upset. Almost, speaking of Lazio, like the giants they were once considered. So that I would consider as a success for Lazio this season, that we have managed to put ourselves and our name and our brand at that level where people are taking it seriously. I mean, a lot of people expected Lazio to win, where you know win the whole Europa League. There were people who were expecting that Lazio could be one of the favorites for going, all the way, which I would say were the positive things that we had. But then that also finally came, to hit us. Like we were mentioning, the depth in the team was absolutely not there, and we had to play perhaps the most important match for Lazio, which is the
It
derby
it really
during
looked like you guys were more motivated for the derby than the Bodo Glimt game, because the first
it,
leg, I think Bodo Glimt should have scored a couple of goals more. Lazio
five
looked gassed.
easily.
Yeah.
e-
Yeah,
e-
yeah,
Easily 5-0. I mean, it was very
yeah,
lucky that we, got away with, and it was Mandas. Like, I think that has been a good decision in the recent past of,
yeah.
choosing Mandas over Providel, because I
Hmm.
think Providel had really lost the plot. Mandas coming back, he did quite well in the Norway game. He did quite well in the derby. In fact, for a very long period
What a
of time,
save!
I was, yeah, he was making some
Manchini
really
header.
fantastic saves.
What a save! Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
and and kind of thought that we might just get away with
Mhm.
a clean sheet in the derby, which did not happen, and
Thank
not
you,
cleanly
Matty
at
Sule.
all. Yeah, and then the match which happened yesterday, that you kind of felt the effects of all of that, because although we did really put in a performance, uh, I mean, Bodo Glimt didn't really pose so much of a threat during the match. It was not like they were
Yeah,
threatening to score all the time, but then neither were we. I mean, we scored a goal in the first half, but there were many more chances that could have happened, and the quality was really, I mean, you could feel, I felt that the quality was lacking. And even in the derby, I felt there was a certain amount of quality lacking in, say, the set pieces, where quality is needed from a team like this. And I was extremely glad when when in the 95th minute, I mean, people were, I think the commentators were talking about Lazio going out, and that's when we scored the second goal,
Yeah,
and that
yeah,
that really, gave a whole injection of hope out of almost nowhere. It was, of course, we were pushing very hard, and I was really glad that we were able to do that. Then the extra time and we score, it becomes a very similar kind of a situation of in the derby as well, where we feel that we have reached a stage where we can just shut up shop and just stop things. But well, then I think the Henderson is the player who scored. Yeah,
yeah. Helmerson,
Helmerson.
Helmerson. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly, all the Nordic names. I mean, you always conjure images of Vikings, and I don't think the Roman Empire has ever done very well against the Vikings. Those were places we never really went up to. So I think that is something that we are reminded time and again through millennia. So that's what happened. The penalties were they were really weird. I mean, like Parambhai was saying, that there was this kind of feeling which even I got, that when the penalties were reached, that there was going to be something that Lazio were going to be lacking. To be very honest, I never thought about penalties. Somehow it just did
Yes.
not cross my mind that we would reach penalties, that there was a possibility of reaching penalties in this match. So which is why when it happened, it just felt like there was no plan, there was no preparedness. We were, you know part of the time we were probably celebrating, and a part of the time we just could not get our heads back into the game. And we saw what happened with the penalties, like you mentioned. Castellanos was a special case, because actually in the derby, when he was taken off, there was actually a deal between him and Baroni. The fact, he was told that you will get to play the entirety of the Bodo Glimt game, but you will not get to play the entirety of the Roma game, because you have to run as mad and just burst your lungs and do whatever. And he did that in the Roma game. I would say that he was one of the
yeah.
brightest sparks in that match, even though he was not the one scoring the goal, but there
Came
were
back,
there were
came
opportunities.
back after a long time ना injury के बाद में. काफी time
Yes,
के लिए injured
exactly.
था. He came back.
Exactly, he came back after a long time, and he really did it. Like, he really pushed it. But when he played the entire game in Europa League, you could know that he was completely burst
Yeah,
out,
yeah.
burnt out. And I think that was a feeling when the penalty started. I did not really feel a lot of positivity there. And like you mentioned, the goalkeeper, we've really had to face some really difficult goalkeepers in recent games. So yeah, I mean, it happened what it happened. It was again one of those feelings of what could have been, because
Yeah,
it could be that this could have been on an easier set of fixtures for Lazio
yeah.
in some way. It could have been like we could have been given more days to rest or something like that. But Serie A does it in that way, to make your life most difficult.
Anubhuti, I can tell you one thing. If Lazio did get through and Lazio played Spurs, they would have been in the Europa League final. ये मैं गारंटी से बोल सकता हूँ. Spurs को तो नॉकआउट ही करती थी. I think
Yeah.
you're right when you mentioned Baroni should have focused more on the Europa League, should have rotated his entire team against Roma. I really felt because derby games है ही ऐसे, like you have Romagnoli who's starting, you have Rovella who's starting. They gave it 100% because you cannot lose the Rome derby, right? So I think काफी energy zap हुआ. आपने देखा कि Bodo Glimt were sitting back. They didn't want to score. The owners was on Lazio to score. Got a late, equalizer on the aggregate. And उसके बाद में penalties में परम तू भी देख. Last year, Inter Atletico, that penalty shootout, I knew as soon as
Yeah,
an Italian club comes into penalty shootouts, somehow the players get gassed out. Even Roma in the
like, I
Europa
mean,
League final against Sevilla.
I,
मतलब,
No, I agree. I mean, देखो इंटर का तो gassed out more than anything. I knew from the get go we were going to lose last season on penalties because we just don't have those many good penalty takers. But this season, that's a different story. Again, we're talking about Lazio though. I mean, again, Lazio though, I think it was more of a mental thing. I know they were definitely gassed out, but again, it's like मुझे लगा somewhere कि despite losing obviously in normal time, obviously given the score line, not aggregate the match का score line. I still felt Bodo Glimt had a mental edge to be fair because मुझे
yeah,
पता था they would suffer. I know that. I kind of had that feeling they would suffer. But again, as someone who has watched that club over the years, जो मैंने growth देखा है, and personally, not to offend anyone, I find it more impressive than what Leicester City have done. In comparison to their story, I just had a feeling somewhere Bodo Glimt would take it. मुझे I don't know. It was just an internal feeling having watched them. मुझे लगा था ये वो Lazio का वही. Unfortunately, I think maybe Anubhuti will agree when it's time for those clutch moments, it's not happening, and we have seen it over the years. The barring the Coppa Italia final with Simone Inzaghi, a lot of these clutch games, even if you take when they got dumped to the Conference League, जब इगली तारे ने बोला था the Conference League is a trash competition, then he got dumped into that, he got dumped out of that, they got dumped out of that, stuff like that. So, I mean, it is just something I think it tells you about them as a club, about how they run more than anything. Just Lotito run karta, and when it comes to these clutch moments, it's not happening with them, unfortunately for them. I mean, objectively, obviously, I don't like saying that because मुझे लगता है कि when Lazio do have potential to do better in general. I mean, especially when you see how many clubs have overtaken them over the years. Now even Bologna is getting better than them. I see Bologna having a better structure than Lazio, to be fair. I'm not saying it because of one season, but then there is a proper director in place. I mean, Sartori is better than Fabiani, to be fair. You have a better ownership in place, level-headed ownership. Atalanta, Sassuolo, I would say, even if Sassuolo obviously played a Europa League ages ago, I would say Sassuolo are a better run club than Lazio, to be very fair, because उनकी जो expectations होती है वो fulfill करते. They're back in the Serie A. Now you watch them, I'm telling you, they're going to be fine next season. They already have good players. बस थोड़ा रिवैम्प करना है उनको, एक प्लेयर बेचेंगे ओवर प्राइस करके, दिल भी करना है. पॉइंट इज Lazio, it boils down to the same thing, that squad isn't there. I mean, yes, Bulai Dia tha, TT Castellanos tha, but when you look at that depth, there is something missing. There is, as you keep saying, as we have discussed, एक Luis Alberto type player missing है, एक proper backup striker missing है. Defense तो बात ही मत करो. I feel it is one of the worst defenses amongst the top 7 teams in the league. I'll be very honest with you. मैंने कल न्यूज पढ़ा, इंटर हैव मारियो हीला ऑन टॉप ऑफ देयर शॉर्टलिस्ट. मैं रोम जाके प्रे करूंगा, जो भी टेंपल है नहीं चाहिए मेरे को. Like, if you can sponsor a ticket, I don't want that guy in my team. I'm sorry, he's a very average.
तुझे रोम के मंदिर में जाना, I'll give you Francesco Totti's home address.
आप टिकट दो, आप मंदिर दो. I don't want Mario Hila at Inter. मतलब that'll be the biggest mistake we make.
उधर मन्नत पूरी नहीं होने वाली.
Oh no.
Mario Hila will go there if you do that.
नहीं चाहिए भाई, but all jokes aside, नहीं. So I feel it's that mentality issue that Lazio have stems from how it is run as a club, and I don't want to say all these generic things, but it is true. हर टाइम क्लच मोमेंट पे हो रहा है, बिकॉज आइडियली अगर जैसे अनुभूति ने बोला, I didn't expect penalties as well in this game, I'll be very honest. I expected either a straight Bodo Glimt to win, or if Lazio were going through, they were going through. And I did have Lazio reaching far in general. मतलब after topping the table, you can't be performing like this. Like, आपने रेदा बेलायान को जनवरी में साइन किया, fair enough, he's still settling in, okay. But you didn't address the defensive issues. Like, you didn't really address all that. You still have fucking Marusic playing at right back, Lazzari playing at left back and right back at Lazzari. क्या चल रहा है? Like, आप 2016 में रह रहे हो, 2017 में रह रहे हो, 8 years in the past. Like, so again, this is more of a mentality issue. And again, I'll come to all the comments. Thank you everyone for commenting, because I saw, and I mentioned the comments because somebody said something about Lotito. That's why. And here, Anad, of course, Lotito is a criminal. He needs to sell the club. Lazio, because, like, I do blame him. मतलब Iglitare left for a reason. I'm not saying Iglitare was a good director. I mean, he was okay. I would say pretty decent. But एक हद होती है जब तक एक director भी वो pressure ले सकता है. He also left. Now he's linked with AC Milan. So I feel it's a structural issue which shows on the pitch. The players, Matteo Guendouzi, very, very temperamental player. Like, I read the news yesterday, वो बहुत upset after the loss. He cried. He was the only one who went to the Kurva. It's a very, the club में potential बहुत है Lazio में करने को, but they can't sustain that. It's either very good or it's either very bad all of a sudden. The highs and lows are very extreme. There is no middle ground with them. And that is exactly why, for me, I'm not surprised they're out. I'm not surprised they're out, because this is Lazio for you. Unfortunately, Anubhuti, that is the case. But Ajay, before we get into it, let me just take comments, because बहुत comments are. Again, 29 people watching. We are very grateful. Please like, share and subscribe, guys. एक तो grateful for everyone because we crossed 1.5k subs again, a major milestone completed for us. So thank you guys for all the support. 2k is the next goal. So again, guys, like करो, share करो, spread the word, subscribe करो. Let us know there is an let people know there is an Italian football community. अगर आप Italian football नहीं देखते हो, you can come to us. There are a lot of stories to tell. There's a lot of stuff we are about to put out very soon. So कर लो, please subscribe. And again, if you have not watched Ajay Bhai on TV with that fancy shirt of his, he absolutely rocked it on Champions Ki Charcha. Like he was the most, I would say, the most knowledgeable panelist in my opinion on there. So no offense to anyone else, but yeah, मजा आ गया अजय को देख के. So अगर आपको
That
ये
was
सब
good
देखना
fun.
है,
Good fun.
definitely, yeah, please help us grow. Let me see who else is in the house very quickly. Just hating on Turkish league because he hates Icardi. नहीं मतलब standards गिर गए. I mean, he's not even playing. He's injured, by the way. Opinion on Fabio Meretti this season kind of feel like he went
Of
under the radar.
course.
He's
Of
actually playing
course.
well for Genoa. Yeah, he's actually playing well. He's one of the key elements for Patrick Vieira. By the way, आज भी एक news आई थी कि Genoa are going to now play a hard ball, but they don't want to let Patrick Vieira go because Patrick Vieira Roma के list पे. Obviously, Roma have
No,
shortlisted him.
false. False. False.
No,
False.
but now I would say kind of it's not because Genoa tier one sources are confirmed it today. He's on the list. They're not saying it's closed.
Please. Yeah.
List में है, but Genoa are going to try to keep him obviously because they want to build a
Please
proper
keep him.
plan.
Please keep him.
I would say, yeah, that's a fair sentiment. Robbie, nice to have you. AC Milan fan. Di Marco versus Yamal says Krish. Milan won 3-2 against Bodo Glimt. Yes. What makes Italiano a good cup coach? Usually the best cup coaches are very pragmatic, like Ancelotti or Mourinho or Allegri feels like anti-pragmatic. मैं
नहीं यार,
anti-pragmatic नहीं बोलूंगा.
नहीं यार, come on यार. Italian was very, very positive, very controlled. Like, the pragmatic term is used by a lot of journalists. I know it's very
एक तो
fancy.
आई फील अच्छा pragmatic ये जो वर्ड है ना फुटबॉल में बहुत मिसयूज हो
हाँ,
गया बिकॉज अगर आप
बहुत.
pragmatic का इंग्लिश में नॉर्मल मीनिंग सोचोगे ना, इट मींस being sensible, right?
Sensible,
That
yeah.
can either be, even if you're like an extremely offensive oriented team, like let's say company
Yeah.
का mentality, or overly defensive.
Yeah.
वो pragmatic थोड़ा defense से orient हो गया.
Yeah.
But simple layman
Yeah.
terms, pragmatic means simply being smart in what you do, right, Anubhuti? So I think वो एक थोड़ा misinterpret हो गया वो word. But about Italiano, I think Anubhuti will also agree कि see, he has a lot of room to grow. I'm not saying he's perfect. Like, I was one of his biggest critics. But we made an entire separate video on the guy because he's doing what he's doing. He's doing an excellent job. They could still qualify for the Champions League. And एक चीज बोलूंगा उसके बारे में, he still needs to improve in terms of how he sets up his press, because at times you see a lot of gaps. But what he's doing with this team, I won't say he's anti-pragmatic or anything. उसकी एक philosophy है, but you have to give the guy credit as one of his biggest critics. Sitting here, I will have to say, the guy with less time has implemented a lot of good things at the club. Anubhuti, I'll get your thoughts on Italiano very shortly. Just remind me. I just want to go through comments first. Bodo Glimt is a serious side, not gonna lie. Gave us a tough time 2 years back as well. They are very serious. I'll be very honest with you. Inter should focus on the league. Inter should not play with the strongest level in the Champions League. Barca fans, of course, good banter there. Spurs versus Lazio more competitive. Motivate can, अरे बाप रे, मतलब hoping all the cups should come to La Liga. That's fair. You're a Barca fan. I mean, I can't blame you for thinking that way. Should Lotito take the accountability of the squad building, especially considering the praise he got when they were doing well? Anubhuti, you should answer this.
Yeah, I think he should totally take the accountability for the the results that are happening, because I think a lot of it is actually affected by him. He is not the kind of owner who keeps his hands off if it's a
Yeah,
successful season. He keeps coming and meddling with all sorts of things, and I have felt that even after Lazio were doing well, at least at a point in the season, I would say somewhere in the winter, just before the the middle of the games, that's where once we ran out of steam, and again Lotito came with that whole negative, judgment of everything. I am right about everything, everyone else is wrong. And then he went into the winter, and we didn't yes, we did get some players, but it felt like Baroni and Lotito were not really communicating at that point of time,
yeah,
because it turned out to be like there were players being left out. Someone like Pellegrini had issues with Baroni, but then
Yeah.
Lotito wanted him there because, well, he is a Laziali, and the the fans were wanting to him to get in. So there was this kind of a disbalance that was created then. After that, the second half of the season has not been as good for Lazio. There have been repeated, I would say, of course, injuries, people getting sent off, which keeps happening anyway in the league. For Lazio, keeps happening for all the teams. So again, in those points, Lotito is not the kind of person who comes up and supports the team, not the kind of person. He kinds of goes ahead and makes life difficult for people anyway. Even someone like Nuno, now that he's
Mm.
been injured plenty of times, Lotito has decided to bump him off the team or something like this. So that's the thing. Like, there is that cohesion which he actively comes and destroys. He puts himself bigger than the club all the time. Even you might have heard everyone wanting him to sell the team for so long, but he goes ahead and says that I'll pass it on to my son. And these were
Yeah.
comments that he made not so long back. So there is this whole kind of the kind of management style that he brings in. It has always been in a way confrontational with everyone, whether it is the league, whether it is the team, whether it is the players, whether it is the coach. He's always in that mode of confronting. Like you mentioned, Tare left. Even when Simone Inzaghi left, it was he had a huge role to play. With Sari, it was a similar case. There was this kind of a cold war being going around, between Sari and him all this time. So he has that destabilizing essence. This year, especially, it was an opportunity for him to he got what he wanted. You can say he got rid of almost all the players who he did not like, whether it is Immobile, whether it was Luis Alberto, Milinkovic Savic is a slightly different case. But it was always this thing that this year he got rid of all the players he did not want. He got a coach that many fans did not believe in, but he came in there and he said that this is going to be the guy, and I will prove you all of you wrong by this guy and by this team. But when the team actually started performing, when that guy actually started performing, that's when he turned once again, and it was to uh, push his ego out once again. So that's what happened. Like, and this is something that I think I was talking about, is the fact that when that season started, I said that just qualifying for the Europa League would be a good enough experience for us, and if we could go to the quarterfinals of the Europa League, then really wonderful. That is exactly the things that I had predicted, and to be right about those things, to find the team actually ending up there in spite of me being proven wrong, me feeling that the team has so much more potential, me feeling that we found some really good some really good player. People like Rovella are like, I could not have imagined how well they've played, how much they've put in a season like this. And for them, I believe that this was a season that was a complete letdown. And that's the thing, like the motivation that Baroni was able to get from the players, I think that is gone now. We'll have to think completely differently in a way, perhaps slightly change the team, find new players, but also, like, I believe that find a new way of motivation, find our goals and really stick to them. If it is going through in the Europa League and doing something well, if that is the goal, then let us go ahead and stick to it, rather than not having any goal per se. And just I think Lazio is one of those teams, and I think when you were talking about, it is expected of Lazio to do that, because I also feel that Lazio go into a season without a set of goals. They go in and it is like, let's see how this happens. We are here to prove the world wrong, and that is one of the core things of being a Laziali, is that. And even in the city, if you really talk about it, it's always prove yourself more
Yeah.
capable, or in some way. And that is that's an insecure mindset. That's not the way that you become a big club per se. And I
Yeah.
think when
Fair.
you're talking about Atalanta, when you're talking about Sassuolo, these are clubs which have at least that they have that confidence in them, in themselves.
Yeah, I
They,
don't think
yes,
Lotito really
because
Uh,
realizes that.
yeah. Anubhuti, I have to say you are the most sane voice of Lazio that's out there on the internet. I hope you get €1 billion so that you can buy Lazio, from Lotito and take the club over and change it in the way that you want. I think it'll be good fun. Both the Roman clubs doing well at the top. But guys, moving on quickly to Fiorentina, जो एक और इटली के representative है, third consecutive semi-final for them. Param Anubhuti, they're facing Real Betis, and very very tough Betis, of course, coached by Pellegrini, and they have the goat Anthony with them.
Hmm.
It is really a matchup. Who's going to face Chelsea in the final? क्या लगता है? Do you think Fiorentina have it in them to make it to a third consecutive final, or
No,
will they?
for
Will
me,
they?
for me, Real Betis, for me, Real Betis are winning this. मैं लिख के ले लो. मैं अभी से बोल रहा हूँ. शायद गलत हो जाऊँ, but for me, Real Betis will win this. Like, I think Fiorentina have kind of like क्या बोलते हैं, been a bit fortunate. Like I don't want
Yeah,
to take away from their performances, but I feel मैंने दोनों legs देखे against Chelsea, and that was not easy by any means. Like that was very tough. मतलब I felt they were going to go out yesterday itself. Kudos
hmm,
to Rolando Mandragora जो step up किया last minute, but I feel again Fiorentina is kind of a thin team or ये clutch end after the season. They have to obviously yet again perform in the league as well. It's not like they can give up on the league because उधर भी उनके European spots risk पे है. It's not like they're in a position they can say, हाँ, let's bank everything on the Conference League. I'll be honest, like people again, like for people, let me remind you the games against Chelsea मैंने देखा, the disappointment in the league. Let me show you where they stand on the table. Again, they're not that far off from AC Milan. रोमा के जस्ट पीछे है. अगर आप उनका फिक्सचर लिस्ट भी देखो, वेरी क्विकली, कैलेरी, एम्पोली, रियल बेटिस अवे, रोमा, बेटिस एट होम, Venezia that is getting draws, and to close the season they have a derby against Bologna at home. So obviously if they don't reach the final, that is matlab. And again, let me remind you, regardless, the four teams left in the Conference League are tough. Matlab, obviously for Chelsea it's a case of quality because utni quality hai, they have too much quality for the Conference League. Djurgården are one of the best clubs, Nordic clubs right now. Again, जैसे मैं बोडो ग्लिम्ट की praise करता हूँ, Djurgården have been a consistent top level team in Sweden, डिशिंग आउट टैलेंट. अगर आप लूकस बर्गवाल के बारे में जानते हो जो स्पर्स के लिए खेलता है, वो उधर से ही आया है.
first man.
सो these four teams, whoever reaches the final, whether it's Djurgården, whether it's Chelsea, or obviously their head-to-head competition in Real Betis, this is far from easy. Again, मैं ये नहीं देना, Fiorentina से क्रेडिट नहीं लेना चाहता. I mean, they have been actually they have bounced back very well. To be fair, Fagioli अच्छा खेल रहा है, but again that whole betting thing, how much of a toll will it take on him? चलो, against Chelsea he did well, but it remains to be seen कितना consistency रख पाता है. Goodmanson has not really been that Goodmanson of Genoa. That defense kind of worries me. I think Ajay bhai, आप भी Luca Ranieri के इतने बड़े fan नहीं हो, even I don't like him, to be fair.
Do not like him.
Komuzzo, yeah, same. Komuzzo has been a bright talent, but again he's also raw. Pongracic is prone to errors, but again good for Palladino's system. Uh, I would say, I would say they can do it. I don't want to be too harsh on Fiorentina because Palladino has done a good job. I just feel I just find a much more stable team as their opponents in Real Betis. I'll be very honest. Stable, that too, a stable club. जैसे आपने बोला Pellegrini. Pellegrini has done a great job over there, like with
Yeah,
limited resources. मेरे को याद है Pellegrini का first season at Real Betis. His transfer spend was €0. मतलब transfer spend बोल रहा हूँ. Obviously wages पे अलग. All of their transfers were free transfers. I remember this. And despite that, he's won trophy. He's won a trophy. He's won the Copa del Rey. He's been in the top 7 consistently, given the financial restrictions and how many players they've had to sell, which is worth around 90 million if I give you a rough calculation. So, bhai, these guys have done a fantastic job. Even if you see them in this league this season, they're sixth. They've actually done a good job, and I feel they have some very good players. अगर आप देखोगे, if not just by the stats, but even if you just look at the squad also, like अगर आप Ricardo Rodriguez देखो, obviously former Serie A player over there. But again, in Bakambu, being that utility player, obviously well-known name in the league. I mean, well-known name in football. Like scoring the first goal. Lo Celso has been good. Isco के बारे में, like even if I don't show you the stats, we've all heard he's done well. So my point is, I just find a team a bit more stable than Fiorentina, a bit more settled. I've seen Real Betis this season. I feel they know how to manage situations. Pellegrini, obviously being the veteran he is, knows how to manage situations better than a Palladino. And in Fiorentina in general, like Fiorentina have been over reliant on David De Gea. Let me be very clear on this. अगर David De Gea इतने saves नहीं करता Fiorentina के लिए, we would be seeing Fiorentina much below in terms of what they've achieved. Like अभी भी बचाया उसने हर एक चीज. अगर आप देखोगे post game, David De Gea mainly he takes the headlines. And I'm not saying this because he's David De Gea, right? My point is, I need to see something a bit more. I'm not saying this season has been bad for Fiorentina. It has been good, but it's a period of transition for Fiorentina. That's where I'm coming from. So point being, yeah, we have to take it easy on them. You guys can give your thoughts, then we can move on.
Fair. In fact, शिवम ने Diego Llorente के बारे में भी बोला. I just had a chat with a fellow Roma fan. How we should have signed Diego Llorente for like 3 million, 4 million. He wanted to stay good backup. Back three में खेलता है. I think he's played 27 odd games for Betis. But Anubhuti, quick yes or no? Do you think Fiorentina can overcome Betis and make it to the third consecutive Conference League final?
I feel like they could. I feel like, they just have that thing in this season.
Love it. Love the debate. Param says no, Anubhuti says yes. Like it.
No, go ahead, Anubhuti.
Go ahead. I just feel like, this season they just have that like you mentioned, with David De Gea being there as well, they just have that knack of winning games, which you would not expect them to. Even in this, although this fixture was supposed to be easy, it was not really. They did not really go that easy for them. So I feel it is possible for them to really pull off something this season. I don't think they're gonna win it, but I think with Betis they can pull it off.
Anubhuti, whoever has finished first in the league phase have been knocked out apart from Chelsea. So Liverpool finished first in the Champions League. They got knocked out. But Barca, Arsenal, Inter are now in the semis. Same thing in the Europa. Lazio finished first, got knocked out. But Spurs, Athletic Club and United, who finished in the top 4, are in the semis. तो सिर्फ Chelsea एक club है जो अभी भी बाकी है competition में. And if they don't lose the final, then I think this.
It's just I mean, they're just too much quality there for them to.
Yeah, I mean, exactly.
I mean, that's just not
exactly as Anubhuti said. इतना stacked team है कि I mean, for the Conference League, regardless
Param, 90 minutes or one-off game. Final में कुछ भी हो सकता है. And
yeah, I agree. I don't deny.
That's true. Horrible, yaar. What a horrible coach.
We have to do a separate episode on Maresca because वो एक अलग conversation है जो मैं touch upon करूँगा. Like again Maresca को मैं थोड़ा Parma days से follow किया, and in Italy, this is no offense to Chelsea fans, by the way, or no offense to anyone who likes Maresca. Let me be very clear. This is an objective view of Enzo Maresca in Italy. In Italy, he's known to be a very arrogant person. He's not liked by many people. And there is a reason behind it, which we should maybe cover in a separate episode with a proper Chelsea fan and someone, I don't know, maybe if we can get somebody on with more familiar with him. Like, again, I know I've read about him and he's not that well liked as a person in Italy, but that's a matter for a different day. Somebody said Johnny Cardozo. I do not like USMNT players for a reason, but again, he has been very good. He's actually a very good midfielder, and I know he's on the radar of many clubs, but he's been that driving force in that Betis midfield along with Isco as well. So yaar, मेरे लिए तो very quickly before we move on, take comments and talk about Inter Barca, because a lot of people are asking about Inter Barca. We are coming to it, don't worry. Not a preview, but brief discussion. But yeah, I think Betis are the favorites. And your prediction, Ajay, what do you think will happen? What do you think? Fiorentina, Betis?
Real Betis.
Betis, right? See, Ajay knows. The best club from Seville, I should say. The best club in Seville, not the club.
Only club from Seville.
The only club from Seville, not the red. Not the
Who's
one.
The other club? I don't know any other club from Seville.
Ajay bhai के memories इतने अच्छे नहीं हो दूसरे club से के Seville के. Anubhuti probably has good memories of that. But let me quickly take some comments. We'll get to Inter Barca Serie A बात करेंगे again, guys. 38 people watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. We'll come to everything very slowly. I hope you're liking the discussion. We try to do our best here, so please like, share, and subscribe. Siddhant says good evening. Again, I have a lot of comments. Let me just quickly go through it, guys. I appreciate all this. Just give us some time. Joby, Shivam, I'll come to your comment about Lazio. Everything will come to it. Don't worry. Just have to kind of structure it properly. Where did I stop? DiMarco versus Yamal, Milan one. ये भी ले लिया Italiano को. Bodo Glimt is a serious side. I took this. Inter should focus. Sorry, I took this as well. Versus Lazio more competitive. ये भी ले लिया. Hope ये भी ले लिया. रुको. Ajay sir, what's your take on? Again, I'm starring the Inter Barca comments because we are going to get to it right away. Ajay bhai is absolutely delighted. Do you have the players who can play through the Barca press? Again, I'll answer this once we start discussing Inter Barca. So I'm starring these two comments. बेघानी शादी में अब्दुल दीवाना, अरे ये कमेंट तो बहुत कॉमन हो गया है आजकल, मैं हर एक स्ट्रीम में देखता हूँ. हसीब इज ट्राइंग टू कन्विंस मी फॉर द लास्ट लाइक 5 मिनट्स लीग इज मोर इंपॉर्टेंट देन द चैंपियंस लीग. मैं यही दिखाऊंगा भाई, ट्रेबल इज इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर अस, ऑल कॉम्पिटिशंस आर इंपॉर्टेंट. सॉरी, वी हैव टू ड्रीम बिग यार, ड्रीम तो कम नहीं कर सकते ना. चाउना एंड नॉस्लिन लुक टेरिबल, या टुक टेरिबल पेन्स टू बी ऑनेस्ट. आई विल स्पेयर इट 80. अभिजय का असेसमेंट इधर अच्छा है because Chauna and Noslin, Ajay bhai, हम लोग last teams में भी, I don't know if you saw Anubhati, but we have been calling these two guys out because they've been absolutely disappointing ever since the beginning of the season. I know Chauna was close to being swapped for Fabian in January with Bologna, but Noslin also has been terrible. He's been quite bad, to be fair. How important would set pieces be for the Inter Barca game? Starring this, Inter Barca is next in the discussion, so starring this as well. Baroni is responsible as well. He needs to go. ये तो Lotito बन गया पूरा. Indian Lotito Anand Singh, matlab, he needs to go. I feel is a bit of a stretch personally, but he is responsible. Yes, you can't deny that. But I think sacking is not the solution here. Personally, man was cramping, couldn't walk. Why did he even take the pen? Yeah, that's a fair point. But जैसे अनुभूति ने बोला, that was more of an agreement between Baroni and Castellanos. Hasib bhai, chill. All teams are here to compete. Arey, he's just bantering. But again, that's what 3 teams out of the 4 in the Champions League, Anubhuti, are on for a treble, right? And it's a very unique Champions League semi-final. On one side, you have 2 teams who've never won the Champions League. One of them will be in the final. On the other side, you have 2 teams, obviously, that have won the treble before. Barcelona obviously has done it twice. Inter has done it once. So it's a very unique and different, semi-finals for the first after a long time. Chauna pen had 0 conviction. I fully agree. Tanmay, Barca fans says this season, if Barca versus Inter goes to pens, I think Inter has the advantage. We don't have many good penalty takers here at Barca, and the game being played at San Siro. Yeah, I mean, even we don't have great penalty takers apart from Hakan, Acerbi, Zielinski, and whom am I missing? Whatever, let me think about that once again. Dumfries. Like, we also don't have like really good penalty takers per se.
You can't trust Lautaro.
Yeah, he's not good at penalties. I'll be very honest, he's not good at penalties. As good as he is, he's class, he's improved thoda, but he's not good at penalties. Simone Inzaghi style the last coach of Lazio to win a trophy. Respect my coach. I mean, Anubhuti is a big Simone Inzaghi fan, so she won't have issues respecting him. Who are the pen takers for Barca? He can answer that. I mean, Fiorentina and Bologna will surpass Lazio. Fiorentina, I don't think so. Bologna, I think, is a much more stable.
Bologna तो already ऊपर है यार.
Already है, with all due respect, yeah. But Fiorentina, I don't think so. Hila is an average player. Please, Anubhuti, like, give him a lifetime extension or something. I do not want him at Inter. I just can't picture him playing here. Or maybe you can give him to Roma or something. Something you can do.
Roma, Lazio transfers don't happen, bhai.
Yeah. तो नॉर्मल टाइम में जीत लो, मतलब ये मिठाई की दुकान है कि आप विक्ट्रीज बांट रहे हो, नॉर्मल टाइम में जीत लो, ये मस्त कॉन्वर्सेशन है. Levy Olmo if available, Rafinha, Inigo, maybe Ferran, but I can't think because most of our squad is young and inexperienced in terms of his penalty taking options. Vesino and Hussain 2025, Vesino and Romagnoli are cowards for not taking penalties. Anad मतलब अंदर का अपना Lazio, I know he's an Interista, but he's symbolizing that Inter Lazio Ultra का connection. मतलब अजय भाई ये typical वही लग रहा है मुझे.
Ultra. Anad is a proper Ultra.
I'll get to the Shiva. मैंने तेरा comment star किया. Let Anubhuti answer this थोड़ा in some time. Or want to see Ajay sir versus Purav Raja. Don't get me started on Purav Raja. I'm sorry. Carlos Augusto has to start versus Barca. I'll come to that. We'll come to the preview. Fiorentina on their way to lose 3 back-to-back Conference League finals. Bhai, matlab, yeah. Can we beat Barca? Again, we'll come to this very shortly. Victor the King with our fully fit squad. I'm confident we can beat Barca any team, but it's always 50-50 in the Champions League. Pellegrini's Betis is not going to be easy. We have already discussed this. Last 2-3 comments before I get back to it and start the discussion. I trust Simone Inzaghi blindly. Neer, nice to have you again. What ways can Inter hurt Barca in? Again, coming to it very shortly, just taking one more comment. Just my opinion, but Immobile did not leave on his own. He was hounded out by the fans who abused him when he went to pick his kids up from school. When fans become owners, this is what happens. That was not the only reason, but I know what incident you're talking about. But uska physical
Yeah.
decline देख यार as a player. It was very evident. It's not it. He had to move on. Immobile in 2025, I'm sorry, is not the solution, Modayan. Again, Turkish Super League is not the standard. It just not is. If you have a player like Michi Batshuayi performing over there, that tells you. I know there were instances with Immobile. Certain Lazio fans got carried away, but there was an evident decline, which I will ask Anubhuti on since it's become a point of discussion. Again, just remind me in a bit. But Ajay bhai, you want to discuss because people have asked you. Let's start with you. क्या वो इंटर बार्सा का प्रीव्यू नहीं कर रहे हम लोग. लेट्स टॉक अबाउट, लेट्स मिक्स इट काइंड ऑफ विद इंटर बायर्न एंड how it's going into Inter Barca and how Barca are playing. थोड़ा ऐसा करते हैं. We're not doing a preview right now. It's too early to do a preview, but yeah, let us know your thoughts. What do you think?
I think the main change this time is going to be Inter playing the second leg at home. Compared to 2010. मैं 2010 की बात कर रहा हूँ, where Inter had to go away to the Camp Nou in 2010 and play the second leg away. But Bayern game, Anubhuti, when we watched the Inter Bayern game, there was always this assurance कि Inter हारेगी नहीं रात को. Despite Harry Kane taking that lead, I think every one of us who have watched Inter, as a rival, as someone, in the league, we always knew that Inter would come back into the game somehow, and they responded immediately. Okay, just quickly summing up the Bayern game, that Eric Dyer goal was a fluke. He was just aiming the ball back into the box. It was a very windy, gusty night in Milan, and it went in. But I think Inter did the job despite last 15 minutes. There was a bit of Pazza Inter, and Simone Inzaghi almost lost it, and he almost came out, from his touchline onto the pitch, which he almost does.
Always
But
does.
Anubhuti, before I get to Param, what were your thoughts on this Inter Bayern game?
No, I think that the match was very much a sign of how much Inter have progressed through the years. Because honestly, this kind of confidence from the Inter team in a match against Bayern was not something that you would have expected a few years back. So it was confidence, like you mentioned. You never really felt Inter were losing. You never really felt that any player was dropping off. All of the players were playing absolutely fantastically. Whether it is, Lautaro or any of the players, they were always pushing. They were always, on top, and that's what I felt in the entire game. I never felt that Inter are going to get knocked out, and whether it did not happen. And it was also, a kind of a wish that you have as a Lazio fan, to have Inter in the Champions League, Lazio in UEL, and perhaps Fiorentina in the Conference League. Not bad selection of teams. So that was one of the factors as well for what I was looking forward to. But yeah, I mean, it's very good to see. I mean, I don't know about Barca. Let's see how it goes. But I have, like someone had commented, I have blind belief in Inzaghi. So I think, I think he's gonna get the goods. I'm not sure if it'll be all the way to the treble, but let's see. Let's see how far Inter can push it. At least even a final, a Champions League final for an Italian side has been a while coming. So that'll be extremely, interesting for us to see.
I think
Sorry.
Ajay bhai.
Yeah, Param, coming to you.
Yeah.
We've discussed, अपन ने काफी discuss किया about Inzaghi's tactics, but if you can just quickly, sum it up, because a lot of people have asked, how do Inter line up? Do Inter have anyone to beat the press, the Barca press? Just from the two legs against Bayern, your thoughts on Inzaghi and how he has shaped this team.
So let me. I know
And-
there have been. We have,
Before you go ahead, let me also welcome Chintan into the house.
yeah, Chintan, bhai, nice to have you.
What's up? What's up? Hi Anubhuti, how are you?
Hello, I'm good. How are you?
अब
I mean,
एक ही जन ये podcast में एक ही जन हंस रहा है यार, वो परम है. मैं तो दुखी आत्मा, मेरी तो टीम कब से निकल गई. उसके बाद अजय, अभी अनुभूति.
बाकी किसी के पास रीजन नहीं है हंसने का.
To be fair, Ajay bhai can also smile. I mean, his second half of the season has been very good, so he can also exactly he has a reason to smile. To be fair,
एक consolation prize दे रहा है
Not enough. Not enough.
not enough, but then at least they are in a European spot का race. But नहीं Ajay,
पता है वो अजय, तेरे को याद है वो लगान मूवी में एक डायलॉग था, तुम साला गुलाम लोग मेरी जूती के नहीं. ऐसा परम has that superiority air right now.
Never.
Stay poor peasants.
We stay humble here. We stay humble. We are not arrogant over here. But all jokes aside, I saw a lot of comments. मतलब हमने comments भी star किए. We'll get Chintan bhai's opinion as well. How do we interplay for a lot of people who have not watched us? How do we have players who can beat up the Barca press? So generally, to answer everyone's question, I think Ajay bhai, your question was more along the lines of let me answer how interplay. Simply, obviously, I'm sure a lot of people on this podcast have watched us play, but again, to give you a basic visual representation of how we set up against Bayern, maybe that should help people as I talk through the 11. अगर आप देख सकते हो हम 3-5-2 में खेलते हैं. Sommer obviously is the starting goalkeeper. वो जो defense आप देख रहे हो is our best defense. Acerbi is, ये आप न्यूज में देखोगे नहीं, but Acerbi is one of the best, at least form-wise one of the best defenders in the world. I mean, he has silenced a lot of top strikers, चाहे वो Osimhen हो, Haaland हो, obviously even Harry Kane को उसने अच्छे से मार्क किया था. Obviously the goal Kane scored was more of DiMarco's fault, but again back to how do we interplay. Again हम लोग 3-5-2 पेपर पे सेटअप करते हैं, ऑन द पिच भी खेलते हैं, बट अ लॉट ऑफ इट is a lot of collective. We play as a group, we play as a collective. जो भी हम प्रेसिंग करते हैं एज अ टीम होता है, इट स्टार्ट्स फ्रॉम द स्ट्राइकर्स. अगर आप लाउतारो मार्टिनेज को खेलते हो अगर आपने उसको देखा हुआ है खेलते हुए, he will run his socks off, he will put his heart out on the pitch. There was a reason he was the man of the match against Bayern Munich. There's a reason he had fantastic 2 legs against Bayern Munich, because he is a very complete striker, technically gifted है, उसका लेवल ऊपर गया, जो मैं उस दिन चिंतन भाई के साथ डिस्कस कर रहा था. He's become a bit more mature, he's become more clinical. Uski pressing was never a doubt. His technical ability was never a doubt, but he'll always work his socks off. As I said, he'll press other players. He will defend. You can see why he's the captain of Inter. You have in midfield Henrik Mkhitaryan, जो एकदम highly intelligent player है. अगर आप Serie A देखते नहीं हो, अगर आप Inter को देखते नहीं हो, आपको लगेगा Henrik Mkhitaryan 2025 में क्या कर रहा है in one of the world's best teams. But again, that is why if you have not watched, you have to watch Henrik Mkhitaryan, because he's one of the most intelligent players and one of the most fit players in the world. Despite अगर आप उसकी age देखो, जैसे मैंने थोड़ी देर पहले बोला था अजय भाई, age is not the best metric these days, because these players have found ways to be fit, and obviously he is one of the most industrious players in this squad. Nicolo Barella के बारे में मतलब I should be saying a lot, but I don't think there's much to say, because Ajay bhai ने भी उस दिन चैंपियंस की चर्चा में बोला था, he is one of the best midfielders in the world. I think Ajay bhai, you called him, I think top 2 or top 3, something like that, but definitely one of the best hybrid 6-8 midfielders in the world. Çalhanoğlu, I think praises, even if it's not his best season, I would say finding a number 6 like that is not easy, जो week in week out ऐसे performances डालता है. And again, we like to draw 3 teams to us, something Chintan bhai says on every show he goes to. We like when teams press us, because we know how to build around that press. But that doesn't mean that's the only way we can play, क्योंकि एक गलत impression थोड़ा इंटरनेट पे बन गया है कि इंटर ओनली डिफेंड, इंटर ओनली लाइक टू सिट डीप. आई थिंक दैट्स अ वेरी रॉन्ग इंप्रेशन. We can play in many ways. If you watch any of our game we play, we know how to pick our moment, is what I will say. हम लोग टाइम लेते हैं, हम लोग बराबर phases read करते हैं. Now whether or not that is successful all the time remains to be seen. Against Bayern in the second leg, we struggled. We were not at our best. मतलब Barella was double marked, Muller was having a fantastic game. But the point is, we know how to play in multiple ways. Quick counters, having possession of the ball, quick build up, quick goals. We can do it all. It's just that, yes, there are certain limitations we also have, but there are many ways we can hurt you. Thuram drops deep, Lautaro drops deep. Thuram quickly plays on the shoulder of the defender. Dumfries, once he returns, he's a very explosive right wing back. He's expected to be there for the the first leg of against Barcelona. So dekhte hain. So I feel very quickly, to not go on too long, we are a very versatile team. You will see Ajay bhai, agar aap Twitter pe clips dekhte ho, you will have Hakan dropping in as the center back. You will have Acerbi going up where probably Lautaro Martinez is, or you'll have Darmian probably going where Thuram is. We are a very versatile team for those who have not watched us. So you can expect a lot of
actually
हाँ
I think अजय एकदम perfectly वो show पे भी बोल दिया था how they play, how
हाँ
you'll find Bastoni as a wing back putting in crosses and a
Yeah.
Barella as a centre back, and I think Robin Singh भी बहुत सही बोला था that people call some of course people who don't watch Inter call Simeone as Conte 2.0, but that's not the case.
हाँ
उसका defensive transition, उसके transition इतना अच्छे, the passing is so incisive. So that is what the beauty about the whole Inter game is, right? And that's what I've been reading right now also, where people are saying what is their biggest their weakness or whatever it is. Weakness per se तो नहीं है, लेकिन but yeah, as in when they press as a unit. Everyone is okay being a centre back also, and Acerbi, man, like I think usko this same Acerbi was at Milan, and now this Acerbi who pocketed Haaland not once
Same
but
HRB
twice.
and Lazio also.
Exactly. And trust me, it is unbelievable how his positioning is outstanding. That is why sometimes these Italian defenders play so late into their careers also, when your positioning sense is so fantastic. And again, Param was being too harsh on DiMarco. Harry Kane is, I think, world class. Usko half a space diya. He waited for DiMarco to make that. It was
fair.
like,
fair.
as in I think it was covered. Like अगर वो shot बाद में लेगा तो he actually, it was not a fluke that उसने nutmeg किया उसको. He actually waited for that lunging tackle. It's just how incisive, how precise Harry Kane is. Probably
That's
the only
fair.
striker in the world I feel he's so precise. And DiMarco, I know Param is very harsh right now because of course his player, you want to criticize him, but I think it was Harry Kane's magic rather than DiMarco's mistake.
You're right.
No,
You're right.
my only criticism was क्योंकि मैं DiMarco को देखता हूँ, he has this tendency to back off from his mark, the player he's supposed to mark, and he backed off too much. Like,
But
again, I know,
Param वही है कि if he commits against Harry Kane is so good, he'll take a touch out and he'll still finish.
I agree. I want to pull up something Bastoni said. Again, I'm just, because it's in Italian, I just need to quickly translate it.
And what I liked about, I like to just say this much, what I liked about the first leg, जैसे मैं जब अपने बारसा fans काफी इधर आए, मेरे को काफी सब ये पूछा था when I was at that Game on FC episode, is that they were so surprised when Barella made that through ball to Lautaro. Barella was actually a centre back that time, as in he was playing as just a player above, before the last man of defense, of course, before Sommer. And I think वो time पे Barella पीछे ही खेल रहा था, and when of course Inter picked up, you could see Simeone Inzaghi make a इशारा किया था, where Mkhitaryan moved back, and Barella was within 10 seconds. Barella was closing down Kim Min-jae, So that is how fluid they are, where that one call by a manager, and I think Robin Singh Ajay mentioned also in that episode where how amazingly well how Simeone got pissed off at the touchline when Thuram lost the ball against Cagliari. I think that was
Cagliari. Simone
to be fair, I said that to him off air.
Off air, yeah. But you should have shown him the video then, I think. But Ajay, इतना credit मत ले यार. Ajay, तू show खा लेगा पूरा. First of all, guys, Anubhuti, I'm sure you saw it. Guys, comment section में बात किया. Why the hell are we not talking about the drip, the swag Ajay had in that show?
Oh, I want to pull up,
Ajay, please pull up that picture.
I will do that.
This man is on fire. First of all, भाई ऐसा मत कर, मानस को फोन करना पड़ेगा, तो शो छीन लेगा उससे भाई. Ajay, I swear I would not pull this off. I cannot pull this shirt off. I'm pretty honest here. Hands held high. Trust me. And yes, Adrish, he is goated because wherever I go, Anubhuti, I swear, wherever I go, everyone asks me, "Oh, you are Calcio Charcha." I said, "Yeah, I'm a part of it." Do you know Ajay bhai? I know people, Anubhuti, come up to me and say that we were upset. Bilbao kicked out Roma because Ajay bhai would have been upset. Abhi isko celebrate. Anubhuti, would you call that a celebrity or no? I think he is celebrating.
Yeah. No question.
Anubhuti, I was telling Param, and I'm going to tell you guys, we need to pull our socks up. पता चलेगा आधा इंडिया रोमनिस्टा बन जाएगा भाई. We need to pull our socks up.
That is not fair. Like, अच्छा है, मतलब ये तो गलत ही हो जाएगा. वो अपने को कुछ करना पड़ेगा लगता है. अजय भाई का चैनल लगता है हैक करना पड़ेगा. That's the first step. But all jokes aside, हाँ, sorry Anubhuti, go ahead.
No, I was saying आधा इंडिया रोमानिस्टा बन जाएगा. It
not good for you. You need
not
to
good
find,
for me especially.
Yeah, you need to find some elite level hackers, take his channel. But all jokes aside, Ajay bhai, ये obviously what I wanted to pull up about Bastoni before I pull up Ajay bhai, का swag वाला photo जो भी है वो see what he said. He had an interview with Gazeta recently. I think a couple of days or something ago. He said
Yeah, yeah.
individually we are inferior to the other three semi-finalists, but as a team we can beat them all. And this is also true the other way around. If we stop working collectively, we risk always the translation we sinking. Matlab we risk suffering
Losing.
basically. Was the correct translation. So the point is, this is something I've been saying. मैंने जो बोला अभी, Inter is a collective. Inter is a very collective unit. ये जो I think उस दिन Henrik Mkhitaryan ने भी बोला था. I want to pull up one of his comments as well, because I have been very. This was one of those comments which Chintan Bhai will remember. I was very critical of. If you remember, he said we are unplayable or something, right? And he addressed that. He said that basically, and I kind of give him fair play, because I think he kind of managed to answer it very well. He said that when I said Inter are unplayable, what I meant is I watch my teammates every day. I watch my team week in, week out. We don't owe anyone an explanation. I'm trying to find that comment. मिल नहीं रहा है मेरे को. But he said we don't owe anyone an explanation. We don't owe anyone an explanation being we don't owe explanation to the haters outside, because people chat shit about us. If you see the Italian media, why do you think in the last few weeks, the entire team, whenever a journalist asks a question, they've been giving them सीधा rage replies.
Goated comment है, goated comment है.
Fake news.
परिणीति चोपड़ा रोमा फैन, थैंक्स टू अजय भाई, मतलब वो अलग ही लेवल का.
Mrs. Menon, are you hearing this? Is she around, Mrs. Menon?
अजय भाई गया,
मत बोल भाई.
Game over, अजय भाई गया. No podcasting for Ajay भाई for the next 2 years. But But basically, we have been on a bit of a rage mode, because a lot of people have been chatting shit about us, from the Italian media to people who do not watch us. Those are the ignorant people, not people who ask genuine questions. So point is, Mkhitaryan said this, ki when I said Inter are unplayable, it was not out of arrogance. It was mainly out of the fact that because I watch my teammates work their ass off week in, week out, day in, day out. I know what we are capable of as a team. So when I say something, it holds true, because I see the quality around me.
But
and that's when I realized.
I feel I feel like as an Inter fans, players should downplay this only, because it'll be amazing if Inter comes out as the underdogs, because that's how it'll play. I would like to answer this one question here. It keeps coming. तीसरी बार किसी ने पूछा है ये.
In what ways can Barca? Yes, of course. एक तो मैं पहले बोलना चाहूंगा, बारसा देखो, ये जो लोग, there are some people who have said Barca, like I have seen comments where people have said बारसा को आप आसानी से हरा दोगे, which again I don't understand. ये जैसे बायर्न म्यूनिक को डाउनप्ले किया गया था. I think it's very, I mean, it would be crazy to downplay Barcelona. This Barcelona whose attack has been firing on, I think we've all discussed this. Must, मतलब एकदम high class level पे उनका attack चल रहा है. I've watched a lot of Barcelona. We have all watched a bit of Barcelona at least. Yeah, I don't think we need to praise them more. मतलब they deserve all the praise they've been getting. Yamal, Lewandowski, I think deservedly so. Look, their attack is going to be much more difficult to face than what we faced with Bayern Munich. Like I think we can all agree with that. I feel Dani Olmo की बहुत बात चल रही है, जो शिवम ने भी लाई थी. Dani Olmo, I think, will definitely be key in hurting Inter, because again, बोलो Chintan.
I was just going to say, I feel he and Pedri are Inter's biggest threats. If Pedri is the only guy who can probably clip Hakan / Barella, whoever plays number 6 that day or plays behind. I think in a very, very small context, the only time I can probably talk over here is the only time I feel Inter looks vulnerable is when you sit back with them also. Like what Conceição has done till now with Milan is that will not come ahead only. So Inter have to take the game at times, and especially against Milan or in a league game where the victory is needed for Inter or something like that. So I do feel that when you sit back and not like purely Anubhuti Ajay was a scapegoat. I think purely तो ऐसा ही था कि वो आ गया था. Simone Inzaghi was just rubbing his hands के भाई तू आ मेरे पास. And we saw that in the Champions League 10 minutes में उसने गोल मार दिए थे 2 यार. Like purely just knew one way, and that hurt Milan, and that's the reason why we had 6 consecutive losses. And Fonseca and Conceição both figured that sit back against them and they might not get that spaces they needed. Of course, Inter was still dominating most of the games against Milan, but we still got our chances to score.
चिंतन किसी ने मुझे पूछा था, and how can Inter hurt Barca? उसका सवाल का जवाब वही है कि if I were Hansi Flick, I would be calling Conceição and
asking him
also. तू क्या कर रहे
Yeah.
तू क्या कर रहे हैं? How
But I
are
think
Milan unbeaten against Inter?
I'll tell you why that happens, because again I don't want to make it about the dribbling stat. I'm not a fan of that. But Inter, अगर आप last 3-4 season में देखोगे, dribbling numbers, Inter rank in the bottom two. And again, that is not the only reason, because they have a certain way of playing. But it's always good to have a X factor player that can make a difference. We वैसा type का हमारे पास player नहीं है. Basically, अगर आप बोलोगे Quarats
Param,
के लिए type, हाँ.
Param, do you know who can actually dribble really well? And I'm being very biased over here.
बोलो.
Zalewski. Zalewski.
Yeah, Zalewski, yes.
He's
He
actually
did
good.
that against AC Milan. He did that against. The only issue is उसको obviously थोड़ा game time मिलना बाकी. My point is,
Yeah.
look, when teams sit deep against us, it does cause us a bit of problems. But again, I remember the last two derbies where obviously Conceição continued with that approach. But we also missed everything. चिंतन में जैसे बोला, इतना post 3 बार तो post पे लगा हम लोग का. वो नसीब नहीं that Milan caused us a lot of problems by sitting back. But I think obviously post came into play. But look, my point being, even if you sit deep, we can hurt you. But yes, right now, if you had to point out a weakness or how to limit us, sitting deep would be the case, because जब हमने Conceição के against Porto के time भी खेला था, what did he do? He had a compact mid block, deep block. That's how he hurt us. Eventually, we still beat him 1-0 over the 2-0 legs that we went through. So yes, that is the main way to limit us. One interesting point I want to bring up though, because I know there's a lot of talk about Hansi Flick's offside trap, the high line, how they played perfectly. The last time Inter played a club with a proper offside trap, a high line, was Liverpool in the 21-22 season, when we obviously won at Anfield and lost at San Siro. Tabhi Liverpool's offside trap, if you remember, Chintan Bhai, was perfect. Everybody was talking about how perfectly it was implemented.
Yeah.
Van Dijk and everyone. And I'm actually as an Interista curious to see, because obviously in 21-22 Inter was a less mature side. It was not as good. Now we are way better. We are much more mature also. How do we deal with this is legit a curiosity of mine. How do we deal with Barca's offside trap? Because we don't have, हमारे पास ज्यादा pacey players नहीं है. I'm not saying pace is the answer. We have intelligent players, yes. We don't have the most pacey players. So I'm just curious to see how Inter lines up against this offside trap which Barca play. Because I know, yes, vulnerable है वो लोग defense पे. We saw Dortmund beat them as well. So again, I think Chintan bhai, the answer to this is Inter will have to keep picking their moments rightfully. इसलिए Dumfries return जो news में आ रहा है कि he'll be mostly back for the first leg.
I'm telling you, trust me, Dumfries is very important. And I just like
Very
to so I just want to take this.
Yeah.
I was never downplaying Barcelona. I'm not. I'm
Yeah.
just saying that Barcelona, I think वो काफी edit हो चुका है. I said it very clearly that out of all the teams, the last team Barca would want to play is Inter. Is just the way they play. That's it. And what I said, that out of all the three teams, not saying that Inter would not want to face Arsenal, because they play the same way, and that was a very cagey affair when it was a 1-1 draw, but anything can go anyways.
Yeah, he
So
did say exactly. He did say downplay.
I didn't downplay. I think Barca are a great team. If after Inter you ask me who the favorites, I'll go with Barcelona. My only concern with Barcelona is, I just said they have a lot of youngsters who lack experience. I think वो part कभी-कभी क्या होता है, Param, it gets edited. I'll just tell you. And I didn't predict 3-0. I said 3-1 हो सकता है Inter, because if Barca keeps that trap, we have seen even against Bayern how many times Augusto had a free run, cross किया, goal गया था. So I'm saying with that effect, and I kind of miscalculated. I thought first leg was San Siro, so I didn't mean the overall tie. I still feel, I will go with my statement. I still feel Inter are favorites for
That's
me
your
to
opinion.
go. But I never downplay Barcelona, because Barcelona are a fantastic team.
Let me address that. Let me address that, since my club is also able to defend you, because I saw the episode myself. He did not downplay Barca. Again, देखो ये सब चीजें edit होती है, ये वो होती है. Or I would urge, when you guys, with all due respect, when you guys watch something, just listen to the words properly, because I saw that episode. He did not downplay Barcelona at all. In fact, as I said, it would be crazy to downplay Barcelona at all. And I know Chintan Bhai watches a lot of Barcelona, and he's been telling me, and I know I watch a lot of Barcelona for myself. I know this is going to be a much tougher tie than Bayern Munich. मुझे already पता है. I know Lamine Yamal is going to cause a lot of problems for Di Marco. I know Rafinha is in the form of his life. He's going to cause a lot of problems. So I would urge, बराबर से उनका statement बराबर से सुना, and he's right. These things get edited, so थोड़ा समझ के ले लो कि कैसे क्या होता है. again.
And my entire whole idea was Anubhuti, Ajay, Param context में क्या हुआ था is that they were talking about people forgot that Inter are also chasing a treble. Anubhuti, can you believe it?
Yeah.
In that entire thing, like people forget, of course, because the whole topic was about Arsenal and Real Madrid and how Real Madrid got kicked out. Barca, fantastic. And I just said that against Dortmund, and I said it again in that episode. Pedri is very crucial. Pedri was, if Pedri plays this game, Pedri is going to be very crucial for how usually Inter sets up. But Anubhuti, if you see how Barca plays, Barca attacked so much, and we have seen Inter, yeah, we've seen how they play. The minute you attack them, they will. But of course, the quality is way higher than, of course, what they face in Serie A. But again, by the way, मैंने offline ये बोला था. My prime example is, guys, if you see, Barca Atalanta was probably one of the most entertaining group stage games, which was so. I think it was pretty much level. I think draw हुआ था, and this. Anubhuti, this Atalanta has been smashed by Barca, Inter almost every season. 4-0, मतलब हरा रहे. It's just an example that no doubt Barca's caliber is way higher than Atalanta, but it's just a team like Atalanta who play very similar to how Barca plays, struggles. And I think Param 2-3 season हो गए होंगे. I don't think you've lost to Atalanta.
It's been a while. So, it's been 7, at least game wise. It's been 8 consecutive or 7 consecutive games.
That's true. So my whole idea was that I will never disrespect a team like Barca. They're fantastic. And if you ask me, मैंने वही बोला था कि एक Barca अगर Inter, if you beat Inter Milan and if Barca goes through, regardless of who comes in the second finals, I think Barca will be favorites.
I will just say, देखो हर एक का ना अपना opinion होता है, perception होता है of the game. So just because he has an opinion of who can win doesn't mean he's downplaying. Goes for all of us. I don't think I should be clarifying this, but किसी का अगर preference.
मैंने कैसे पढ़ा था, मैंने बोला कि भाई I will not downplay. मैंने just पढ़ा, I thought I just might as well.
Yeah, that's fair. That's again. This is to clarify basically his take on the game. I will just take a few comments again before we close this discussion. Shivam, a Barca fan, obviously a friend of ours, says an intangible for this game could be energy. Barca's schedule is tricky, but interface Roma, AC Milan, leg 2, and a high press team like Bologna. I mean, दोनों का schedule I feel is tough. If I just were to quickly show this, दोनों का schedule, because I feel this is a good point to go off.
वैसे just to 50 people watching, 52 actually watching the stream. Thank you so much, guys. Thanks for all the love and support. Comments, लाते रहो. We'll be taking all your comments.
Please, we are trying our best to take all the comments. As I said, एक तो while you're at it, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Again, हम लोग ने 1.5k subscribers को cross किया. That's thanks to your support. So please subscribe and like and share and let us know कि Italian football community है. Please subscribe to Ajay Bhai's channel, AM Talk Sports. He's तो on, he's crossed 2k subs. उधर भी जाके subscribe करो. He covers a lot of interesting sports stories. I'll pull up his channel, but please subscribe to his channel as well. Getting back to the schedule, Ajay Bhai, Bologna, Inter, AC Milan, of course, Inter, Roma, and obviously Barca, Inter up until the first leg, if I were to see very quickly. अगर Barca का भी schedule देखो, obviously not that simple either, क्योंकि Celta को खेलते हैं. I know Celta is a tricky team. Mallorca, obviously, Mallorca also, to be fair, Shivam, good form. Ajay Bhai, your favorite, Vedat Murici is playing for them. Anubhuti must have some memories.
Murici, yes, of course.
Then the El Clasico, obviously Copa del Rey का, and then you have it. Then they have Inter. So दोनों का schedule I would say आसान नहीं है. I mean, it's quite tricky for both. I mean, as Shivam said, it's about squad management. It's about conserving energy, because funnily enough, as he said that, I just saw a tweet where it said Inter Korea might start against Bologna. I mean, you can have him back.
Obviously.
परम, I just realized कि तुम लोग ड्रिबलर्स की बात कर रहे हो. भाई तुम्हारे पास कोरिया है क्या? भाई
he's not in the Champions League list anyway. So
because I still remember his last minute equalizer against Milan when he was at Lazio. मतलब स्टेपो किया और गोल मारा.
वो लगता है फिर कोपा इटालिया में यूज करना पड़ेगा उसको. But all jokes aside, somebody asked, see, this is fair. Thank you for bringing this up, Harshil. So many parts are cut. See, that's how other podcasts work. We are not calling anyone out or anything. Let me be clear. That's just how things get cut out and everything, और उसमें misinterpretation हो जाता है. Somebody asked me if Thuram is available. So Thuram is injured. अगर आपने उसका interview, I don't know if you saw his Golazzo interview after the game. He was tired. वो पहली चीज उसको जब he couldn't speak. These guys were trying to make him laugh. He's like, I want to go home and sleep. Micah Richards पका रहा था साला. Sorry Ajay bhai, go ahead.
He was like, lads, I just want to go home and have a good
Yeah,
night's
he
sleep.
did have energy और ये लोग हंसी मजाक में busy थे. I was like क्या पका रहे ये लोग, एक तो I'm done with that stupid show. But apart from that, like he was done, he was tired, and I had a feeling he's not fully fit. I've been telling Chintan over the last few weeks, ever since he's returned from his injury. Simone Inzaghi ने भी बोला था he was injured for another additional month. He was playing through pain, and now he's gotten injured. So it's confirmed he will miss the game on the weekend against Bologna. Rome, the derby, he's in serious doubt midweek. The Coppa Italia semi. Roma, देखते if he returns, and Barca game depending on what happens. So he could miss. अभी तक इतना पता है कि next के 2 games तो जा ही रहे उसके. Let me take a few comments quickly. I think we've covered Inter Barca. We're not doing a preview of the game because it's too early for that. It's way too early. Uh, uh, क्या बोल रहा है ये इंटर barely beat Bayern without their many key players, but Barca destroyed them with all their players. So don't underestimate. Again, I don't think he's understood the point. So too bad, my friend. Like if you think we're yeah, if you misunderstood even after so much explanation, not maybe you need to read or watch the stream again. How much Inter is different from 2022 when they played the final and we also played them in group stages? I would say definitely better, much more versatile. It's just that
Don't
the
have
schedule is
Lukaku. Don't have
don't have
Lukaku.
don't have Lukaku to screw things up. So yeah, let me see what else people are saying. Harry Kane is what a team like Madrid needs. Drops and support their wingers. Great passing range and top finisher. World class striker, by the way, of course. Just unlucky.
कहाँ खेलेगा Vinicius?
कहाँ खिलाएगा? Of course, Real Madrid. Yeah, Inter versus PSG. Pavel is back after a long time. Chintan bhai, we need all your Milan energy to beat this Inter side in the final. Please support. वो मतलब you're saying you're already through and beaten PSG, right? Is my understanding. He's already said it as an Arsenal fan. Wow, the arrogance is unreal, man. Where to watch that show? Sony Live का है subscription है तो go watch. Champions League के टैब पे क्लिक करो. Champions की चर्चा ढूंढो नीचे. अजय भाई का
17th
सेगमेंट
April
होगा.
तक 17th April pre mid and post show है.
Yeah, Drippy Ajay Menon, the goat. Goat Ajay, Don Menon can't watch the show here, but Ajay Bhai got the aura of a Romanista. Ajay Bhai can pull off any shirt. अरे बाप रे, ये तो मतलब ये अजय भाई नया सेलिब्रिटी
Oh my भाई, ये देखो भाई.
अरे भाई ये तो अलग ही हो गया. पूकी, अरे बाप रे, ये तो अलग वाइल्ड हो गया पूरा चैट. मतलब आई थिंक वी नीड टू शो दिस टू
भाई,
अजय भाई.
फोटो निकाल यार. मिसेस मेनन को दिखाओ पहली बात तो. ऑल दीस स्क्रीनशॉट्स अजय प्लीज.
एक कमेंट है जो मैं अपनी वाइफ को बाद में दिखाऊंगा. जो
एक मेरे को तो लगता है ये सब शॉट, ये सब कमेंट्स का montage बना के अजय के पूरे फैमिली को दिखाना पड़ेगा मेरे को लग रहा है ऐसे. But just sorry, one thing before I pull up his photo, na, sorry, I just had to go back to that comment where he said Inter barely beat Bayern with your injuries and everything. I just found that a bit funny, with all due respect. Again, A, nobody downplayed Barcelona. B, we didn't barely beat Bayern. We know how to suffer in moments. That's how we play intentionally. And also, if you watch Bayern Munich, Kompany knows only how to play in one way. That's full attack. He doesn't know anything else. ये Bayern fans को आप पूछ सकते हो. He doesn't know how to sit back. He just doesn't like that. So उनका जो mentality था was always to attack because that's what he knows. Just because on your screen you see a team is attacking, that doesn't make them better always. At the end of the day, with all due respect, who went through? Let me be clear here. Yes, Kane missed a golden chance. We also missed chances. But the point is, that's how Kompany plays. That's how someone like an Olise is a very threatening player. So अगर आप game analyze कर रहे हैं, I would say do it with objectivity, not out of hatred. Just being very clear here. Ajay bhai का मेरे पास फोटो आ गया है. Let me just pull this drippy photo up. Where is it? क्या निकाल दिया क्या आपने? अभी तो था इधर. हाँ ये रहा, मिल गया.
कहाँ निकाला?
हाँ ये रहा. Reload हो गया था पेज. Sorry. This is अरे भाई वाला love talking football. ये तो obviously देखो भाई.
Oh, look at that drip, bro.
ये परफेक्ट है. ये परफेक्ट जिफ है. यार सेम दिख रहा है मुझे ये दोनों. जय शाह, सॉरी, आई मीन जय शाह.
वो मैंने किया था. If you notice, मैंने वो जय शाह वाला ट्रिब्यूट किया just for cost.
Yeah, just hands. But this, of course, the deep wala is mandatory. Look at that drip, guy. अच्छा हो मेरा शादी हो गया, वरना अजय मैं तेरे घर पे आता था रिंग के साथ. But actually forget we are talking about Simone Inzaghi. इतना बात कर रहे हैं, अनुभूति is nicely smiling के भाई ये तो मैंने देख चुकी हूँ. Been there, done that. I've experienced his transitions and whatnot. But Anubhuti, as a of course, I think you've already always mentioned how you've always liked him as a player also and as a manager also. As somewhere, do you feel proud when you hear so many people talk about Simeone now? He's getting the recognition. Are you proud, happy, upset that he's left Lazio, or content? बोल सकते हैं. What is your feeling?
What you mentioned is very correct. I always feel very proud because I was mentioning that even when he was at Lazio, he was not really, for a very large period of time, people did not really take him that seriously. He was one of those players who was there. Fans used to like him, but coaches always used to find there was something wrong with him. And now we know what it was wrong with him. And this was something that Ericsson as well mentioned, and some other of the coaches that he played with mentioned, is that he always had that coach's mindset. He used to come as a striker, and perhaps a young striker at Lazio. He used to come and he used to say that, this is what we should do, this is the strategy, this is everything, and which, a lot of coaches did not like. So for me, I do feel very proud when I see his, even when people talk about Spiazze, I find that that interesting. It's part of so I find it, really glad to see this favorite player of mine being a person that everyone in the world nowadays takes, seriously. But of course, there's that sad thing that I wish he could have done this with Lazio rather than, having to move on.
Anubhuti, I have to say, like, even as a Romanista and Inzaghi being a Laziale, it's just respect, man. I mean, the kind of things that he is, the way that he's evolved, right, as a coach, as a tactician. Even I have to put my Roma bias aside and give him that respect that he deserves.
Yeah, he's gone. He's learned on the job. Even at Inter, see him as first season and see him now. You can see the graph. I think in that show, Yash also message. I think future, he to call it future goated manager also. Like he might be, and it looks like it. And I just hope he sticks longer at Inter to probably get that recognition. लेकिन of course दिल तो ऐसा बोल रहा है कि भाई तू निकल चेल्सी जा भाई थोड़ा दूसरे को जीतने दे.
I hope he becomes Azzurri manager sometime soon.
Interesting. I know for sure what is happening is
he's only played one match. He's only played one match as a player.
He's as a player, correct.
And that is against England.
Yes,
away
yes,
at Wembley.
Against England.
Yeah. And just one thing I just can tell you is that obviously very strong interest from Saudi Arabia, being Al Ahly and Al Hilal, who are interested. Simone Inzaghi and Barella both. Obviously, what I read was it's not happening. But they're not interested in leaving Inter right now. But पता क्या पता हो सकता
है? मैं एक तरह guarantee के साथ बोल सकता हूँ, Barella might go to Turkey, but not to play football or a hair transplant, but definitely not to Saudi.
Yeah. I want to just take a few comments before we shift gears to a different topic. Ajay bhai with a tactical board, please भैया flick के साथ 2 मैच के लिए बैठ जाओ, defensively solid करवा दो. People are loving Ajay bhai's drip in the comments. Il barbecue Korea.
Even I feel it's a misconception also. Flick Barca because attacking football, people actually forget that Barca knows how to collectively defend also.
Yeah. That's why their offside trap works well. There is a reason why it works.
That's why these narratives are so sad. Like non-Barca fans, सब लोग कह रहे हैं Barca एक ही वे में खेलती है, Inter एक ही वे में खेलती है. These narratives are so wrong that you don't talk to fans, and that is why I feel that's why I comment कि भाई मैं downplay नहीं कर रहा because I know it works.
Forget it. At this point, we've answered it as Drax said. देखो, हर fan base में toxic लोग निकलते हैं. Drax, I agree with you. We've been technically, to be fair, I answered all your questions collectively about how Inter play. If you joined the stream late, but yeah, we've been answering all these questions. Don't worry. But I agree with you. We will always get at some point trolls or people who disrespect. I can already see that on the side as well with a few people. People asking.
This is spot on what Chintan was saying. The Benfica match.
Yeah.
Super.
Exactly. I saw that game as well. Barca were very good there. For those asking, again, I don't want to take the toxic comments because it really makes no sense, as Drax said. I think this is very correct because as a podcast, when you grow, you do get toxic comments. That happens. That's fair. But again, for people, those have been asking genuine questions, thanks to you guys, because there are a lot of good comments coming in. I'm trying to just find a bit more of those. Just give me a moment. Balde will be a big miss for us in the first leg. Rafinha can't play to his full potential with Martinez. I agree with this. Balde has actually been pretty decent and a big miss for them. just like you guys, I'm hoping Dumfries on the other hand recovers, because जब आप हाई लाइन खेलोगे, जैसे चिंतन मैंने बोला, to exploit that or to best target that, right? We need Denzel Dumfries. I love Darmian. देखो Darmian को बहुत criticism मिलती है. I know he's not explosive, but he's going to provide the defensive solidity. He's not going to be able to explosively target your backline, which Dumfries could. So
Does very well.
yeah. Inter is the antidote for the way Barca play, and these are plain facts. And by the way, Ange can finally win Europa League. I mean, fair enough, Vivek. मैं ये नहीं बोलूंगा we are antidote for how Barca play. I mean, थोड़ा harsh होगा वो, because Barca are very good as well. But yeah, I agree कि this is a very close tie. अब जो दिन पे, अब जो मैच डे पे होगा वो होगा, देखते हैं. Celta, yes, Celta is someone Barca have had a tough time against. 54 people watching, but नहीं ठीक है यार. We don't do it only for the likes. Again, as long as people watch it, help us grow the community. Nothing like it. Ashutosh with a very bold early prediction. चिदर भाई, यू आर राइट, इंटर कैन विन 3-1 और मोर. मतलब एक तो एकदम बहुत जल्दी प्रेडिक्शन देने लग गए लोग. I would have also liked to face Bayern instead of Inter in the semis. I mean, I would say hold your horses, guys. मतलब it's not like ekdam we are overwhelming favorites. Again, this is in doubt. With all due respect, at this stage, any team can win the Champions League. UCL lockouts aren't always run by tactics but moments. Inter winning versus Pep's Barca, or beat the last time City won when City won. I agree with this. I think all of us agree it's about moments as well. And I think Inter this season so far has managed these moments well, especially the comeback versus Bayern. I agree. It was an injury-ridden Bayern, and we still had to pull our,
that is why I always say experience matters. That is why Bayern are a traditionally big European super giant, and you saw that they came all guns blazing, injuries. You saw Bayern play like Bayern. That is why I always say that in all these games, experience matters. That is why Barca are, regardless of their youngsters, Barca are a big club. They will come as a big club. You know, this is where all these things matter. And of course, Barca or Inter, so as you said, Param, it's going to be about moments. You take your moments. Barca will have to be clinical. You will get chances, less chances compared to other teams. You need to be clinical and finish it off.
Absolutely.
So will Inter.
Yeah, see, again, I like I agree with this. I mean, kind of like I feel maybe शायद इधर जो जीते शायद has a good chance, but again, you can't downplay Arsenal. Arsenal have been fantastic, to be fair, and even PSG. I mean, PSG might have lost at Villa, but PSG's youngsters have been. To be fair, as someone said, actually, I'll go back to that assessment. Either of these four teams can win it. And I just want to take one last comment before we move into Serie A talk. इस पे मैं थोड़ा बाद में थॉट्स देता हूँ पिट लेन आर्सेनल मैड्रिड पे.
आर्सेनल पे मैं दूंगा तेरे को थॉट्स बाद में.
हाँ, चिंतन भाई loves kind of secretly likes Arsenal, right? So we can take that. I just wanted to take this. People who only want sugar-coated comments about their club and only places, don't take these guys. I agree. Like, see, we watch football. We also watch other clubs, by the way. We only don't watch Serie A. हमारा channel Italian football होगा, but we watch a lot of other clubs. And we say it how it is. And we say it objectively. That doesn't mean we're insulting XYZ club. I thought Arsenal will go out against Real Madrid. But look, Arsenal has proven me wrong. Fair play to Arsenal. They absolutely destroyed Real Madrid, right? Exactly. So, bhai, we say it as it is. Abhi kisi ko nahi pasand hai, kya hi kar sakte, right? But thanks for these comments. At least people understand where we come from. Let's move on, guys. I really hope Param remains the same if Inter does the treble. Cause this Catalan.
Jitu bhai in the house.
Jitu bhai.
I always like his energy.
Jitu bhai already Param is smiling and is on a different mood. हम लोग को already inferior feel करा चुका है. हम लोग सबको मैसेज किया तुम तीन चुप रहना, मैं कमेंट्स मैं सब पढ़ने वाला हूँ. I am going to take over because Inter in the semi-finals तुम लोग ने क्या उखाड़ा है. मेरे को तो ऐसा मैसेज किया जीतू भाई उसने. मिलान ने उखाड़ा क्या है. सुपर कोपा
ऐसा नहीं है. Being an Interista has taught me to stay humble. We suffered too much. Finished 9th in Serie A in 2012. So I never forget all that. But nice to see Jitu bhai in the house. Hopefully a collab is, hopefully we can have you on the channel somewhere down the line. But guys, let's get back.
जीतू भाई के कोलैब में तू नहीं रहने वाला है, because जीतू भाई के कोलैब में अनुभूति, चिंतन और मैं रहने वाले हैं. वो हमारे उम्र का आदमी है.
Definitely done deal.
I mean, youngster.
And perfect, like I think people जैसे if you want to defy generation, अजय ने जो मैसेज किया है, हम लोग ने मैक्स वर्स्टैपन के पप्पा को देखा है ड्राइव करते हुए. तो मतलब it just shows how old we are. So that is how it is right now. But it is very funny, guys. I just perspective, I had gone to rivalry room and people were talking about 2012 Anubhuti. They're talking about 2012-13 season और तभी बोले अरे यार those days, मेरे को तो 12-13 सीजन अभी लग रहा है कि अभी हुआ है. If you want to talk about those days, मेरे को सीधा 2006 World Cup win, that feels like okay, so that was a long time ago. But when people talk about 13, 14, 15, like oh those were the days, अजय यार ऐसा अजीब लगता है कि those were the days, मतलब अभी तो गया था ये भाई.
2006 is also came after a lot of time of supporting Italy and Italian teams.
exactly.
Like it was like a culmination of years of effort from a lot of these players, and also like
उसके बाद Euros, so that also 2006 के बाद 21.
Yeah, Euros were such a
15 साल हुए हैं.
Can you believe the amount of hate that Roma fans face in 2004 because Francesco Totti spat on Christian Paulsen? इतना ऐसा hate दे रहा था. I mean, 2004, man. I just feel that it happened a while ago, but yeah, it happened a long time ago.
Yeah, or even the Euro 2000 I had seen, the one where...
don't ask.
Yeah, exactly.
Euro 2000 is
that was,
biggest.
That was hard.
As a Paulo fan, I trust me. 2006 was the only, like, these golden generation should have won 2004 also. I feel.
Also,
so that whole thing.
South Korea robbery.
Two also. So
I don't think
was then in their twilight.
Brazil was too good at that point of time.
No, but Anubhuti, I'm telling you, on a again one-off game, like you saw in 1982, how Brazil were fancy to win, but Italy still beat them. I feel on the day Italy could have beaten them, but that South Korea game was so rigged, yeah.
That was rigged.
But I think Spain also lost the same way, right? The same also.
Next
the one after
was Spain.
Yes. So Italy round of 16 mein hara, Spain quarters mein hara, and then South Korea went to the semi-finals.
But so that is why. So 2000 was, as a Paulo fan, because of course he retired and then Italy lifted the World Cup. So mere liye, and unfortunately, I hope you guys remember his biggest comment is that I am football's biggest loser, because that is what he calls himself. He said, although I've won, but I've lost so much. So, that is the biggest heartbreak. But yeah, if we go into this, Param so jayega. If we go into this, walk down the Maybelline.
Don't worry.
Just to end this, right? What Jitu bhai said, quarter final में South Korea ने Italy को हराया. Italy 2006 World Cup जीत गई. Round of 16 में, sorry. And quarter में South Korea ने Spain को हराया. Spain won the 2010 World Cup. So justice was served,
Yeah.
No, to be fair, secretly, when I read about that story and when I watched those matches back on football, I was actually low-key liking how South Korea was going deep despite the shady results, because I was more of a sucker for Asian football back then also. So secretly, I was kind of loving it, but obviously it was more unfair. So जब आपको actual story मुझे पता चली उसके पीछे क्या थी, obviously then I was very disappointed to know कि obviously it was a lot of rigged. Obviously cheating involved in that, but yeah, until then I enjoyed it a lot, to be very fair. But Inter has earned 118 million till now. I would say around 135 million euros, to answer your question, approx calculation. But again, the football, it's not all about transfer market. So 480 to 80.
वो तो सही बात है
जीतू भाई, but we ended up like at least seeing our national teams winning. मतलब वो तो हो गया है.
जीता यार.
अभी इंग्लैंड फैंस तो कब से बेचारे गा रहे हैं कि it's coming home. वो कभी होने वाला है, वो होता नहीं.
टुकेल शायद ला दे, but बस तो I think we can move on, guys. I'll come to the rest of the comments. Let's move into Serie A chat. I think we had a very good discussion on the Champions League, the Europa League, and the Conference League, and I'm liking everyone how people are participating. As I said, like, share, and subscribe. Please subscribe to Ajay Bhai's channel. I'll pull it up shortly. But let's get into Serie A action, as we always do. Predictions करते हैं हम लोग, and then we close the stream because weekend action कल चालू हो रहा है. तो ये weekend थोड़ा weird है because most of the games are on the Monday, and जब सब हम काम कर रहे होंगे तब Serie A चल रहा होगा. Yeah, Easter of course, because of that, but still it's very unusual because Monday को ज़्यादा obviously eyeball शायद आए ना, obviously abroad that is. But we start tomorrow with Lecce versus Como, guys. Again, as always, I expect people to give their predictions with the team names, whatever you guys feel based on what we discuss or whatever you have seen, if you have seen the team. अजय भाई, ये मतलब Lecce Giampaolo, जैसे हम बार-बार वही बोल रहे हैं, that Giampaolo effect, Chintan bhai knows better than anyone. It has set in, and Lecce are in trouble. I feel there is a chance that they could get relegated, because of the fixture list they have, and they've not won a game. in a while now. 6 गेम हो गया actually they've not won. Como on the other hand obviously फिर से अच्छा कर रही है. अजय भाई क्या बोलते हो यार, क्या prediction दोगे इधर?
Yaar, Como going to win this. Lecce, unfortunately, have been bad. I think this could go like a 2-1 away win for Como.
Fair enough. चिंतन भाई क्या बोलते हो?
Yeah, same. I love how Como plays. Very, very attractive. Cesc Fabregas, एक वो भी एक स्टाइल में खेलता है. He's true to it, and I like how he's bought in winter transfers also, who suit जिसको suit कर रहा है Como कैसे खेल रहा है. And of course, I think all our teams have played Como. They've troubled all our teams. I'm going for a Como win. Yeah, Como should win this. 2-1 or 2-0.
2-1 or 2-0. Okay, Anubhuti, what do you think?
Same for me. I think Como is going to win this. I think 1-0, but Como should win this.
Yeah, I think it'll be close like what Chintan Bhai has said as well. I feel Lecce will try, but I think they'll disappoint thanks to Gianpaolo. I think that effect has truly set in. And yeah, I think Como जीतेगी. Como will, you know, solidify their survival in the Serie A. And फिर देखते हैं Como का future what it holds. Again, बहुत लोग हमारे chat में are excited about what Como's project holds. You know, Cesc Fabregas has been linked with RB Leipzig, but it looks like he will stay. You know, they are ready to spend more money than anyone next season in the Serie A. I think we've all heard the news. Asan Diao, जो former La Liga player है, former Real Betis player है, has been killing it in the Serie A. अगर आप La Liga fan हो, Nico Paz, Real Madrid fans के लिए again killing it. You know, doing a fantastic job. So definitely, I feel Como will win. I don't know about the scoreline, but I feel close win for Como. Big fixture here because this is against this is a title contender facing the worst team in the league. क्या लगता है आप लोग को? Because news has just come in, David Neres is actually missing this game against Monza. But with that being said, Monza is still the worst team in the league. क्या बोलते हो आप लोग? मतलब रन तो आप देख ही
मेरे भाई परम, डेविड नरेश को छोड़, तू योगेश को भी ये गेम में खेला. मोन्जा ये गेम जीतने नहीं वाली है. मोन्जा तो गई, you know. It's a in Yogesh's only words, routine 3-0 win to Napoli.
I think अभी स्कॉट मैकटोमिने को टाइम आ गया है, जो 2 असिस्ट उसको मिले थे फ्रॉम लुकाकू टू गिव इट बैक टू हिम. So I expect 2 Lukaku goals from Scott McTominay assist.
What do you think, Anubhuti? What do you think, Anubhuti?
Same. I feel definitely win for Napoli. I don't know how much, but definitely a win for Napoli.
Guys, तुम लोग समझ नहीं रहे हो. बेचारा परम is trying to tell us that कोई बोलो नापोली हारे तो हम लोग थोड़ा प्लेयर्स को बेंच करें.
I mean,
not with Monza, like that's not going to happen.
Yeah, Napoli have a relatively comfortable schedule, you know, if you be honest as well, and there's nothing wrong with that. It is what it is. As we keep discussing, you play what is in front of you at some point. Or again, I don't see it with this Monza team. They're already done and dusted. They're preparing for life in Serie B. They're preparing for a sale, as Ajay Bhai said, with Galliani. यही होने वाला है. Injuries है.
Anubhuti, you know, if you get that millions of euros, rather than investing in Lazio, we should invest in Monza as Calcio Action. Race circuit also.
Yeah, exactly. Your F1 interest will also be sorted. But yeah, I think Napoli.
We can all pool and get. I mean, Chintan will also be interested. After all, it is very close to Milan. So.
Param, director of sport, I have a Indian striker, well-traveled striker. I'm not taking his name. Very good in the air, classic number 9, free agent है. साइन करने का क्या तेरे को? तू समझ गया मैं किसके बारे में बात कर रहा हूँ?
सब समझ गए. But let me just see what the comments are saying in terms of predictions. A lot of people say, sorry, starting with Rahul, he says 2-0 Como. Lecce 1-1 Como, says Harshil. Swayam says 2-0 Como. Excuse me. I think Venezia and Empoli will survive. Lecce will go down with Parma. Wow, that's bold. I mean, wow, that's actually a very bold prediction. Let's see though. Shivam, 1-0 Como, 1-0 to Como, says I think that's for Tejani Rangers. Siddhant says 2-1 Como. Inter के signings के बारे में Hakan we'll discuss some other day. Krish is here, Genoa fan. यार अजय भाई comment if you can pull it. Long time मैं उसी के बारे में सोच रहा था stream में कि बंदा है किधर. If you can pull up that comment, I've not seen this guy in ages. You let us know, bro. Like, how happy are you with what Patrick Vieira is doing at the club?
Definitely, he's sign an extension. I heard.
Yeah, he is. They're planning for life next season, so definitely a good job. Abhijay says 20. Sorry, not Abhijay. My bad. Swarnim Bhai says 4-0 Napoli. I2 says 2026 वर्ल्ड कप में जर्मनी अर्जेंटीना स्पेन आर फेवरेट्स भाई मतलब 2 साल है यार उस चीज को जरा संभल के हाकान says Diao Asandia Nikopaz to Inter who says no Inter says no Napoli 2-0 says Harshil Shivam says if Monza lose they get statistically relegated yes they do I mean they're already they're hopeless but they will get statistically relegated Soham says 3-0 Napoli Chris says 3-0 Napoli Rahul says 4-0 McTominay base disrespect to Yogesh bhai is unreal 2-0 Napoli says Krish. Spezia will qualify to Serie A and Salvatore Esposito will show his magic. I don't follow Serie A that much, just see weekend highlights of the whole week. Just want you all to discuss a bit on tactics of Fabregas. I guess he's robotic pep style of play. Is that right? Vivek, एक काम कर मैं comment start करता हूँ. I'll just discuss it at the end of predictions very quickly. Gladiator, Bayern Munich fans says respect to Inter from a Bayern fan, but I seriously hate Acerbi from the bottom of my heart. Your thoughts on his gesture? Yeah, I mean, it was unnecessary what he celebrated in Muller's face, but 2 years ago, I remember Kimmich did the same thing to Lautaro for no reason. So I can bring that up as well. That doesn't mean what Acerbi did is right. I mean, I feel like it was unnecessary, but basically basis of what Kimmich did 2 years ago, sorry, 3 years ago, not 2 years ago, and basis what Acerbi did, it happens in the heat of the moment, players get carried away. But I still did not like what Acerbi did because I have a lot of respect for Thomas Muller. I like Thomas Muller. He's one of my favorite players of.
I feel whatever, regardless of whatever, whoever does anything, you have to be graceful when you lose. That's it. Like as a player, and you grow, and you don't expect from a senior player like Acerbi, regardless of what happened in the previous games. Some players are just like that, I guess. So I never.
No, look, I feel. Sorry.
I'm saying we'll take the comments end mein. Let's move on to the next game and close the Serie A predictions.
Sure, done deal. We can go. So Napoli, I think all of us have gone for a win.
The next.
Sorry.
वो तो done है. Done
deal. Roma versus Hellas. I mean, can Roma stop a sort of inform Hellas Verona? क्या बोलते हो अजय?
I think we can because it's at home. I'm going for a 3-1. I don't think so. We'll keep a clean sheet. 3-1 home win for Roma.
Yeah. Fair enough, guys. Again, prediction is in the comments. क्या बोलते हो? अनुभूति, what do you think?
I think Hellas always, do us some favors sometimes. So I think at least a draw.
A certain connection between Lazio and Hellas that should not. क्या बोलते हो?
Should not be named.
I will go typical Roma, which is not very Roma-like. I'll go for a 1-0 Roma victory, a goal, and then power that defense, like typical. I think कितना हुआ है अजय last 1-2 महीने में तो कितने 1-0 हुए?
16 games unbeaten.
माँ कसम ये 1-0 में देखे because wherever there is Roma game going on, you feel like अरे अभी मतलब थोड़ा they might concede 1-0 here, 1-0 here, but I think he set up his team quite well, so I'll go for a 1-0 Roma.
I'll go for a 2-1 Roma. I feel as much as I don't like saying this, Hellas Verona have actually been performing well.
Yeah, they've been doing well actually.
Yeah, and हम लोग एक वीडियो बनाने वाले हैं on one of like underrated players or top 10 under 23 players. Something we are going to do, but one of these two categories will come out. And Diego Coppola, I never thought this player would make it anywhere despite his young age, but he's been actually fantastic this season. And a player to keep an eye out. 6'4", no nonsense, old school center back. तो उस वीडियो में उसके बारे में definitely बात करेंगे. But I think Hellas have been doing well. I absolutely hate praising them, but yeah, kudos to them.
Next time Milan में आ जाएगा तभी बात कर लेंगे हम लोग.
मिलान में आके बेचारा
शायद chance of him going to Lazio.
Of course.
Yeah, Baroni effect. But quickly, just looking at the predictions, just want to take Chris's comment. I'm happy at the start of the season. I thought we'll get relegated, but Vieira saved us. I'm just glad Chris जो passion के साथ Genoa को follow कर रहा है. I'm just glad to see that यार. Hopefully one day we'll play in Europe. अभिजय का comment के लिए मैं रुका था. Hellas 4-1. Time to put Roma back in their place. Harshil says
Lot of Hellas fans.
Lot of Hellas fans. Abhijay is a proper Hellas fan. Harshil says 2-1 to Roma. Swarnim Bhai says if Hellas wins, Ajay Bhai need something dramatic on YouTube. I think if Hellas wins, Ajay Bhai should shut down AM Talk Sports. Like if that happens, I will.
If Hellas wins, we'll have an Anubhuti ka shot coming very soon.
Yes.
Yeah, like for a whole week, I feel Anubhuti should take over his channel.
Oh yes, that's it. Amazing. AM Talk Sports run by Anubhuti.
Yeah, exactly.
anyways, Anubhuti's name starts with an A, so it's fine.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Hellas 5-1 Roma says Swayam. Chris says 2-1 Roma, 1-0 Ranieri. Magic says Siddhant. Chris says 1-0 Roma. 4-2 says Rahul. Sule scoring says Sunil. That prediction revisit video stream too. Yeah, we will be doing that. So Abhilya
End of the
wants us to
season.
do end of the season,
End of the season.
exactly. On a serious note, Sam says 2-1 Roma. Gladiator says, but this was Muller's last game in a sale and he should have shown his justice to Kimmich, not to someone who has no. I agree with you. मैं वो deny नहीं कर रहा, but as I said, it happens heat of the moment. But I was not a fan of it either. I don't like disrespect towards Muller. Shivam says 2-0 Verona. Guys, how is Villar doing at Genoa? I'll just take it towards the end, pit lane. Let us get done with the comments. Sorry, the predictions. Empoli, Venezia. Again, a relegation battle, guys. क्या बोलते हो इधर? Because Empoli has been terrible. They have been suffering. Venezia has been doing well. As much as I dislike Di Francesco, I think Venezia will get a draw or a win here. क्या बोलते हो अनुभूति? What do you think?
Even I'll go for a draw, 1-1.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
but
feels like a
Yeah, sorry,
it
Anubhuti,
feels
go
like
ahead.
a 1-1. But
1-1.
maybe Venezia can sneak something in. I think last few matches they've been doing well. So
Fair enough. What do you think, Chindan bhai?
Yeah, I have a very sneaky feeling Venezia is going to survive, so I'll go with
Yeah.
Venezia winning this.
Yeah, I can't believe Di Francesco might actually survive. Like, what insane how he. But all jokes aside, these are the funny quirks na, Ajay, of the relegation battle. Daniel Fila, right? He's Venezia's new signing, right? He scored in the last game where they beat Monza, and he got suspended at full time. That's how the relegation battle goes in Serie A. मतलब आप बचाते भी हो अपने टीम को, आप सस्पेंड भी हो जाते हो वही गेम में. When you are most needed, you get suspended. Let me see what people are saying. 2-0 Empoli, 2-0 Venezia, says Swarnim by 1-0 Venezia. Draw says Harshil. Empoli 0-0 Venezia, says Swarnim. Adrish says AB Talk Sports for a week. That's a good one. Bologna Inter, I mean, this is 9:30 kickoff. One of the games of the weekend. Obviously, this is going to be super tough because this game, Napoli at this point could be on level points with Inter. If they beat Monza, this will be very tough. Obviously, for Inter, what do you guys think going into this game? What do you think will happen?
But Chintan, I think Bologna at home are very good, and Inter का वो tiredness रहने वाला है चिंतन, परम अनुभूति. I feel it's going to be a 2-all draw with Bologna leading 2-1 and Inter scoring a late equalizer to break Yogesh's heart 1500 kilometers from Mumbai to Bangalore.
Yeah, but I don't know, man. Yeah, you're right. I think Inter will be very jaded. वो तो रहेगा. Bologna are doing well. They want to cement their spot. So I don't know, but I still go with a 2-1. I think 1-2 Inter will win this. But same, I'll go with the same. I think योगेश का दिल टूटेगा एंड में, लेकिन वो विनर होगा.
आपने तो और भी तोड़ दिया उसका दिल अगर ऐसा हो जाएगा तो. अनुभूति, what do you think?
I think Inter is going to win it somehow anyway because kind of need Bologna to not win.
Oh, that's also
Yeah.
fair.
We
That
all
is
do.
fair.
We all do.
Yeah, we all do. We all
want
We all
Bologna
need
to
Bologna
lose.
to get stopped, and Inter is one of the best opportunities. So
Yeah,
them to
look,
trip up.
objectively speaking, again, I feel we will definitely concede a goal because Serie A में खेलते तो we definitely concede goals. I think that's a given at this point. For some reason or the other, we concede goals. What I saw when I saw Atalanta Bologna in their recent loss, I saw Atalanta comfortably beat Bologna. I know this is at home. I know Bologna have barely lost at home. I think they've only lost one game this whole season. Yeah, one game if I'm not wrong. If I quickly pull this up, that was to surprisingly Hellas Verona of all teams. Matlab, how football can be funny at times, it's crazy. But yeah, if I'm not wrong, Hellas is the only team they've lost to at home. So my point being, like, against Atalanta, what I saw was a very flat Bologna which got dominated by Atalanta. But again, this is at the Dallara. This is a tough game. Bologna have a very good record against Inter as well. I still feel, I don't know what it is. We will be tired or something. But what Bastoni said, ki at times what happens when you have to play so many games, na, आप वो adrenaline को use करके you somehow make or break, you somehow push through it. When you play so many games and you somehow do well, and I feel we might start seeing that side of Inter towards the last stretch of this whole whatever, all these three competitions. So I feel we'll win. Despite how good Bologna are, I feel Inter will win.
Scoreline, Param, kya? What is your prediction of the scoreline?
2-1 to Inter. I feel Bologna will give us hell. Same, I feel Bologna will give us hell. Italian will cause problems, but we'll somehow win in a scrappy fashion 2-1. And call me crazy, I think Arnautovic will score the winner coming off the bench or something. So we have
Wow.
become 2025 में
मेरे
मैं
को
Arnautovic.
मेरे को लग रहा है एक सेट पीस गोल आएगा, इसमें भी एक सेट पीस गोल आने वाला है इंटर का.
Look, I respect Bologna. I'm the first one to respect Bologna, and I think they can win this as well objectively. But I just feel ये जो last stretch जो आप देख रहे हो ना, obviously, where the fuck did that go? Sorry, this last stretch you see with Inter, this whole fixture list, I just want to quickly show. And with Como and a potential Champions League final if it comes to that, I feel this is where we'll pick up. I don't know what it is the players are saying, how they're feeling the adrenaline, despite the crazy schedule. I feel we will go on a good run here. It's just an instinctive feeling. But yeah, we can move on. I just want to see in the comments. People say 2-2 draw, 3-1 to Inter, 2-0 2-1 to Bologna, 4-1 says Krish to Inter, 2-1 Inter. Then what else? 1-1 draw, Lautaro goal. So yeah, I think those were the predictions. Come on, guys. I want more people to predict. After that, I think we have Ajay Bhai. What game do we have? Why is this not loading? Just give me a second. Just give me a second. There is a bit of a lag here. Until then, you can just take a few comments or just if you want to. We have Milan Atalanta in the night. Chintan bhai, big game obviously for you. Milan Atalanta that following night. I think Chintan bhai is frozen. क्या बोलते हो अजय भाई? Milan Atalanta is a big game. क्या बोलते हो? क्या होगा?
Very big game. Atalanta just turning it around. I think they were in a bit of a rut against Bologna. They beat Bologna to the surprise of everybody. I think हम लोग सारे we went for a Bologna win last week because just the form that Bologna were in. So I think it was a surprising win that Atalanta beat them so comfortably, that too. So Milan again, obviously they have their issues, but always difficult to beat at home. At the outset, I think I'll go for a draw, maybe like a 0-0 draw or a one or low scoring draw. In this one, I just feel that both sides will cancel each other out. They would not want to lose because both of them are still, in contention for Europe. Atlanta to hai Champions League spots में ये time पे. So I think they will cancel each other out and maybe it'll be a low scoring draw.
What do you think, Anubhuti? What do you think is going to happen?
I think somehow Atalanta is going to maybe do a 2-1 or something like that. I think what Ajay was mentioning, like there was a rut. There were like so many matches in which they were not the Atalanta of the Atalanta we know. So I think against Bologna some of it is back, and I think against Milan we will see a resurgence of them again. Because they're quite rested, they're doing quite well right now. So yeah.
Fair enough. Chintan bhai is not back yet. I'll say it is a close because actually Milan won in amazing fashion away to Udinese, which I did not see happening, to be fair. बहुत dominant fashion में जैसे आपने Atalanta के बारे में बोला, Milan actually dominated Udinese. जो मैंने expect नहीं किया था. So I feel there is momentum on both sides. I will go for a high scoring draw here. I feel both teams thoda each point of the season they've been very weird. Even Atalanta, as good as Atalanta have been, I feel they've also had a strange phase, and I'm going for a draw here. Chintan bhai ke liye when he comes back he can predict Atalanta 1-1 Milan, Atalanta to win says Sunil, 3-1 Atalanta. Guys, I want to see more predictions. Atalanta 2-1 says Retegi, goal says Siddhant. We can move through the next game. Chintan bhai can come back and give his prediction. क्या बोलते हो अजय भाई? टोरिनो उडीनेसे, कैलियरी फियोरेंटीना एक साथ ले सकते हैं, क्या बोलते हो?
Torino win this and Cagliari Fiorentina, I think I'll go for a draw.
Fair enough. I think I have the same predictions as you. Anubhuti, what do you say?
Same. Torino should win. Fiorentina, I'm not sure, but maybe Fiorentina wins the one.
Fair enough. We have people saying 2-1 Milan. Jayesh says 2-2 draw for the Atalanta Milan game. Genoa Lazio, guys, like what do you make of that?
Interesting game. Very start with Anubhuti.
Because this is tough, like for you, like Genoa. Krish, अगर तो अभी भी chat में है, तेरे predictions देना, because Genoa have been playing very well to be like they've actually been very good. मैंने Patrick Vieira से ये expect नहीं किया था. He's actually doing well with a certain set of players. उसके system में क्या बोलते? What do you think, Anubhuti?
I feel that like this match against Genoa for Lazio is going to be that match where you finally decide that we have to save our season right now. So it is a make or break match kind of a thing. But I feel that finally after the highs of or the high adrenaline of all the matches that we played. I think Genoa is a match that we are going to put all of us behind, and we are going to scrape a victory, because that's the thing. Like, I just feel that this is the match which Lazio gets to save its season, or else if it doesn't, then it's really downhill from there.
Yeah, I will just say one thing before I get Ajay bhai's prediction here. Koni de Winter पे बहुत eyes है. I know you are looking to get him back. He's been fantastic this season. मेरे पे भी अच्छा खेल रहा है. Zanoli, Napoli के बाद he's become that utility player. What I like what Patrick Vieira has done ना अजय भाई, वो ये सब utility players को लेके he's trying to do something. You get my point? Like Pinamonti, Zanoli, you know, even your Miretti is kind of Aaron
Yeah.
Carisol, Leali यार, he's a fucking second choice keeper. अगर आप stats देखोगे, he will be ranked among the best keepers in the league, which is quite strange, but he's there. And
Yeah.
just how he's getting the best out of these utility players is crazy. Thorsby is still not a utility player. He's better than Messias and all these guys. So I personally feel Genoa either ये draw होता है, Genoa जीतती है. Sorry अनुभूति, but I just feel they're doing so well, and you guys are coming off such a tough period with so much fatigue. I have a feeling Genoa wins. क्या बोलते हो अजय भाई?
I think I'll go with Krish's comment as well. I think this is fair enough. I think Lazio may pull off a draw, but if I had to pick a winner, maybe Genoa, because they've been that good at home. And like Krish has mentioned, low on confidence, heavy legs after playing on Thursday. Maybe
Yeah.
they have a slight edge in this. So I feel either a Genoa draw or a win.
Yeah, Krish से भी मैं agree करता हूँ. He says we are winning. Uh, we have Parma versus UA next. Of course,
Hey, Chintan is back. Chintan is back.
Chintan Bhai is back. Chintan Bhai, I think he's fine. Yeah, he's not frozen. Chintan Bhai, Milan Atalanta क्या predictions यार आपका वो रह गया. मैं pull up करता हूँ quickly. क्या बोलते हो क्या? Because
I don't know, man. Finally, he's changed to back three,
yeah,
which I thought he should have done this a while ago. I don't know. We don't play that well against Atalanta, anyways. But I think if he sticks with the back three, we'll pull off a draw. I don't. I don't know. मेरे को लगता है हारेंगे नहीं शायद. Draw will not be very expressive, attractive football नहीं खेल पाएंगे. Conceição now damage control करेगा. We have to not lose this game. We cannot lose this game for sure. I'll go with a 2-2, a high scoring draw here.
fair enough. Let's get back on track. Last game, guys. Parma UA. मैं comments पे again फिर से देखना चाहता हूँ. Come on, guys, keep the comments coming in. थोड़ी देर में stream बंद ही हो जाएगा. Parma, terrible. Again, we've spoken about this. Injuries have taken a toll. The inexperience has shown. They do not have a lot of veterans, and the season has been subpar for them. They did have a good result against Fiorentina, but honestly, they are close to relegation. Or UA थोड़े signs दिखा रहा है. They are alive in the top 4 fight. They've been churning out decent results since Tudor has come in. क्या predictions बोलते हो? UNTD in the chat, everyone in the chat. I'll start with Chintan Bhai on the panel. क्या prediction है आपकी Chintan Bhai?
Yeah, I think new manager bounce. Juventus will win this. I think Juventus will concede. मेरे को लग रहा है concede तो करेगी शायद. I'll go with a 1-2 Juventus win.
Anubhuti, what do you think?
I feel Juventus will win 2-0 maybe.
Fair enough. Ajay bhai?
3-0 to UA or 3-1 to UA.
Wow. I think I agree more with Chintan. I think a concede तो definitely करेगी UA. Cope minus is by the way not available. Even yield is in doubt. I feel either a draw or UA nick this, because Parma have been grinding draws for the last 5 games, and UA also कभी थोड़ा close, and Parma really fighting at least under Kivu. You can see the fight, but yeah, they're barely hanging on. But I feel either UA wins or it ends as a draw. Let me just quickly see the comments. 1-1 Genoa or Genoa का game. Harshil says. Swarnim Bhai says hope Genoa win. Swarnim Bhai says 2-1 to UA. Leoni to score for Parma from a corner. Shivam says 2-0 to UA. Timmy says Lazio almost caused the remontada yesterday, though the game was very fun to watch. Yeah, 2-1 to UA says Harshil, 1-0 UA, 1-1 to Krish. Swarnim Bhai agreeing with Ajay Bhai ki UA jeeti hai. But I think for predictions, that was it. I think I'll just take last. We can close the stream. I think Chintan Bhai also needs to.
Param, I have one comment. Sure. This is from Adidev Guruji.
Sure.
The legend of Guruji, one of the most brilliant guys out there, been working for so many years in the Indian football content creation space. So shout out to him. And this is basically Ranieri speaking in the
Yeah,
press conference. Dobico, how do you judge his season? He's been not getting the service. He's not been good. He's not been bad. There's been a lot of chatter. So my take on this is that only Adidev ki yaar, Dobic, we know that this is his first year in a new league.
I'll just get back.
He's obviously Pichichi of La Liga last year, and he's come into an environment where he faced a lot of pressure because Roma behind the scenes were a mess, three different managers. So I would say overall he's done well. मैंने लास्ट स्ट्रीम में मैं बोला कि आई होप दैट ही स्कोर्स अगेंस्ट अ फ्यू टॉप 6 टॉप 7 टीम्स to get his confidence. But Ranieri is right because Dobic has not been given that service and it's not his fault. So overall, I really feel going ahead next year, whoever the manager is needs to decide whether the manager wants to build around Dobic or not. I feel that whoever comes in next will utilize him because he's a really good striker. Bring players who can play alongside him, wingers, put those balls in. You saw Angelino crossing it to Dobic, utilizes, aerial prowess, and I think it should be good. I don't think so. It will blow up on the manager's face because Ranieri is that guy. जो एक established coach है, old coach है. The players have a lot of respect for him. You've seen the team morale go up in the last 16 games. So a blow up तो नहीं होगा, but yes, he needs to kind of the next manager needs to be very sure of how to use Dobic. So those are my 2 cents. Any thoughts, Chintan, Anubhuti?
No, I feel so as well. What you said was very correct. Like, it just feels like the team is not built around him, like around Dobvik, I mean. So what you're saying is very correct. The next coach, they either have to decide to build it around him because I think he is the kind of player who deserves that, or probably get rid of him and find someone else. So because at least quality wise, what I've seen recently, he's not been there, and he's not had the service. He's just been there. He's just playing his heart out, getting in there in all the challenges, but it's not, the service is not there. It's not built around him.
Fair.
I feel people forget that he's been under three man. This is the third manager in one
Third
season.
manager, वही.
Yeah, so वो एक stability नहीं मिलती है, and सूले वूले ने भी start मतलब approach पूरा change किया था, एक अलग way में खेले. सूले भी also was benched for so long. Wingers नहीं थे, patterns different थे. So मेरे को लग रहा है, as Ajay said, एक consistency time उसको नहीं मिला हुआ है. तो my idea is कि एक people, I think, I normally, not just for Dobbit, everywhere around, people judge a player in the first season is a little harsh, I feel, generally. And Dobbit starting में आया था अजय, he did look nimble. अब उसके feet थोड़े heavy लग रहे, that clearly shows that lack अभी confidence कम है, so he might come good, pretty sure about it.
Fair.
I think that was definitely a good way to sum up Dovbik's tenure so far. I think we can Shivam just wants to say something. His hold-up play has definitely been good.
We did a Shivam and I on my channel have done a video analysis of Dobbik and Girona and Dobbik versus Roma, so you can go and check it out. Aditya, मैं तेरे को link भेजने वाला हूँ Dobbik का. I'll send it to you on your WhatsApp, but you can go and check it out as well.
Fair enough. Yeah, this says it is so important to win a European trophy with the Serie A team to prove and achieve spotlight of football fans and River 90s era. Fair enough. That's actually a good assessment. I agree with you. We have gone and taken as many comments as we can. I'll take a few comments, then we'll end with that thing of yours, the game you've started, Ajay, by last. We'll close with that only.
Oh yes, yes. I completely forgot.
With that. Oh fuck! I have not opened WhatsApp on my laptop once.
हाँ तू तब तक open कर ले, मैं तब तक.
You go through the comments. I'll open it.
मैं comments दे देता हूँ.
Comments.
यार स्वर्णिम ने पूछा top 4 predictions right now. Quickly, Chintan, Anubhuti. Let's start with you, Anubhuti. Top 4 quickly without any explanation. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, Inter, Napoli, Juve, and Bologna.
Wow.
Chintan.
Inter, Napoli, Atalanta, Juve.
Okay, my prediction is Inter, Napoli, Juve, and Atalanta.
Wow, interesting. I think Inter Napoli तो certain ही हो गया almost, obviously. I would say UA आ रहा है. UA I can't see missing out, and I would say I think Bologna or Atalanta. I just find it difficult, but I think maybe
मेरे को तो top 3 set लग रहा है.
yeah, top 3 set लग रहा है. I think Atalanta आ जाएगा मुझे लग रहा है 4th team.
Okay.
Well,
अबे there was one more star comment है.
Yeah, somehow those stars went away. But yeah, Inter do have fans. There are a lot of fans here in the community. You can go and check it out. And South Earn, second
I
leg.
I need to answer that, dude. Like, I know probably people don't mean it as it was a question out of curiosity, but like again, I have to reiterate that we are the only registered fan club in India, like Italian fan club in India for years now, and we have a lot of members that are registered officially to the club. So again, I know you probably asked it out of curiosity, but yes, we have a lot of fans in India. We are more of a pan-India fan club, not a city-centric fan club. But yeah, we have a lot of fans, which is good to see, and we are getting a lot of younger fans as well, thanks to what the team is doing. So yeah, hey, yaar, बहुत है Serie A fans, बहुत है. Forget Inter. There are a lot of Serie A fans in India, so hopefully you can come across them, and hopefully the community grows like that. I'll just give me a second. I'm just opening that quiz, Ajay. You just give me a second.
कौन सा quiz कर रहे हैं?
Second leg is at the San Siro in Milan. So Inter do face Barca away first, and then they come up to play the second leg at home. यार कोई अंडरएस्टिमेट नहीं कर रहा है भाई. इनफैक्ट आई थिंक बारसा फेवरेट्स टू गो थ्रू. यार तेरे लिए क्वेश्चन है चिंतन.
Milan fan club. Of course, we also Inter is the only registered fan club. लेकिन Milan का fan base काफी बड़ा है, and Ajay knows that we have a lot of fans in Mumbai also. We do have regular watch a lot like meetups. We do like to watch games together. So Milan के we've been trying to get in touch, but the club is pretty inactive when it comes to all these things. Juve and Inter are the only active clubs when it comes to fan associations. But yeah, Milan has a lot of fans, especially in Mumbai and Kolkata and Bangalore. These three cities have a lot of Milan fans.
Yeah,
I think you have been spotted on a flight from Mumbai to Chandigarh in January. Are these rumors true? Were you going to sign for Punjab FC?
I was in Chandigarh. Yeah, I was Chandigarh and Ambala. I was there. Yeah, next time you guys see, you can pretty much come up and say hi. Yeah, we'll. I don't know which team do you support, but I'll pretty much sure make you a Milan fan. So that'll be good to see. But I think we met Ajay. I think one of them said that they saw us at the Mumbai City FC game also.
Football arena, yeah.
You guys, please come and say hi to us. We would love to chat.
Yeah, you guys can. I mean, yeah, definitely. I mean, ये अजय भाई अपने जो ना क्विज बनाया ना मेरे को लग रहा है ऑडियंस के लिए टफ हो जाएगा. Like
नहीं I don't underestimate anybody. तू quiz.
I'm not underestimating. I feel we could have put in one easy one there. But ठीक है कोई नहीं.
Me and Param get we freeze when all these games come up. By the way, I तो freeze.
Yeah, like I take time to think. यार ये दिख रहा है क्या? Is this visible?
Yeah, it is. थोड़ा zoom करना.
No, थोड़ा zoom करना पड़ेगा.
रुको.
अब this is nice.
ये WhatsApp का fucking zooming हाँ ये better है.
Yes, this is fine.
ये भाई, you should have started with some easy PL Serie A teams, dude.
मैं वही like अजय भाई एकदम. क्या?
It's not very tough.
Ajay bhai, you take over, ask however you want to, then let's see how many people.
No, I do not. You guys, so
you have to start guessing.
Anubhuti, Chintan, Param, and all the viewers ask questions.
So Ajay bhai, आपको hint देंगे.
Is 2000?
It's not Julio Cruz.
Wait, let me set the tone for this game. So basically ये कैसे होता है? अजय भाई हमेशा विकीपीडिया पे जो भी प्लेयर रहता है उसका विकी प्रोफाइल पुल करते हैं, उसमें से 2-3 क्लब ब्लर कर देते हैं. If you want hints, you can ask for it in the comments. We will also try to guess with you as the panel. और आपको guess करना है सिंपली कौन सा प्लेयर है इसके हिसाब से, ठीक है? तो we can get started. आप लोग को hints पूछना है तो पूछ सकते हो.
First of all, are the two teams which are for the same league or different leagues? Is it a top? Is it the seven? Is it from the Seven Sisters?
One of them is.
So one of them is from the top 7 team. 224, 27. It has to be a midfielder or a defender. ये तो for sure हो गया है.
ये I mean obviously Serie A player तो है ही ये.
Has to be Serie A player, right? Yeah, that's what I was.
Has he played? Has he represented any of the clubs in Europe? Like Europe, UCL में खेला हुआ है ये player?
Yes.
I mean Stuttgart. I mean he's played for whatever appearance.
No.
And-
No. I'm talking about covered.
And also to answer Shivam's question, no Milan
Yeah.
clubs.
No, not Milan clubs.
Elio.
शिवम भाई चैट पे क्यों है?
शिवम भाई पहला क्लब कौन से कंट्री का है वो बता दे पहले. तो I can guess his nationality. Laguna. Is he?
ये हाँ बोलो चिंतन भाई मेरे.
Is he European?
No, he's not.
Look,
He is
Mexican.
European.
Wait a minute.
Technically, wait. Technically, he's got two
Mexican,
passports.
right?
He's got two passports. One of them is European.
Fair enough, but रुको यार ये
Maicon नहीं हो सकता है मिलान.
मुझे लग रहा है मुझे समझ रहा है मेरे को because मुझे थोड़ा समझ आ रहा है because ये मैं कमेंट्स देख रहा हूँ मेरे को thanks to some guesses थोड़ा आइडिया आ रहा है.
Come on,
Anubhuti, you can guess. First of all, I also want Anubhuti to guess. So, Anubhuti, you have any guesses before I go ahead?
I'm trying to think of who played for
Think of all 90s players you can. Argentine.
Ajay, to make it easy, first time, give us a nationality. Which national team he played for?
That would be too much. As I said, he's got two. Wait. He's got two passports. One is South American. One is European.
Yeah. ठीक है. Because वो जो 2002 to 10 वाला है ना, that is kind of giving me guesses as to who he is. Because
बोल ना.
मेरे को लगता है this has
Julio
to
Cruz.
because wait, I'll tell you why. I'll tell you what my guess
अरे
is.
तू नाम तो बोल, तो why मत बोल, नाम बोल.
इटली में उसका कैमरोनेसी या क्रूज. ये क्रूज नहीं हो सकता. इंटर नहीं है इसमें. कैमरोनेसी है क्या?
अच्छा, no Julio Cruz.
Can be Cruz. He never went to Stuttgart. Sorry.
Yes, Param is right. It is Mauro Camoranesi.
Oh, nice. I was just going to.
वो 2002-10 वाला suspicion because Camoranesi always had short stints elsewhere.
Yes.
So,
wow, chalo.
So
maybe Camoranesi, but Ajay bhai, on that note, I think I also should pull up a photo of Camoranesi because for those who don't know him, maybe, or those who remember him, and maybe just in general, let me pull up a photo.
So Argentinian origin, but of course.
Acha, had you said that, it would have been very easy then. You're right.
Yeah, you should
But
have
guys,
never sung the national anthem.
He never
guys,
sung the national anthem.
Let's not forget
That's
in
how we know
2006.
Cameron.
In 2006, he promised he'll cut his choti after it wins the World Cup, and he
इसलिए
cut it
मैं
on the pitch.
इसलिए मैं photo pull करना चाहता हूँ. The iconic hair, obviously with this hairstyle, but the main iconic style was this. I mean,
Yes,
obviously, as you said, he didn't want to sing the anthem as well. But yeah, Camoranesi था. बहुत लोग बोल रहे. I thought of Camoranesi. Bilia is an interesting prediction, Shivam. Abhijay says remove Param. Or his hair was definitely iconic. Yeah, definitely a lot of people were remembering Camoranesi. Swarnim Bhai says one of the 5 who stayed with us in the Serie A.
That's what I think. I have a lot of respect for Camoranesi for that, especially. You know, all the 5 who stayed, great respect to stay with the club for that. I think दूसरा भी है ना? दूसरा
है. Just let me zoom in on my chat.
दूसरा is a little more simpler. But yeah, the two clubs that blanked out were obviously Juve and Verona before that.
Verona,
so two Italian clubs.
Yeah, is the screen sharing, guys? मैंने share किया, but share नहीं. 1 second.
Unshare हो गया.
Just 1 minute देखो. 1 minute दो. मैं just fix कर रहा हूँ. The comments में आ जाए. Just fixing it.
ये last है and ये एकदम मतलब simple वाला है. So
yeah, take the comments ना for the next one.
Okay, quickly Anubhuti.
हाँ?
Anubhuti के लिए comment.
Any hope left? Yes, of course there is hope left. I mean, as you would see, Lazio never really gives up. We are a club that always learns to fly. You know, there are golden days, of course. If you're talking about Scudetto, then there is time till that. There is time till we ever reach the Scudetto stage. But I think at least if you compare us to a decade earlier, we are playing at a much higher level. We are going to much further in the European League than we used to ever. So I think we are doing better. I think there is a lot of improvement still left. I don't think that you can give up on Lazio, and I feel that another golden age is, we deserve one of that. At least I deserve one more in my lifetime. So let's see, let's hope.
Okay,
Nice.
I think ये हो गया fix. Just load हो रहा है screen. Just give me 1 second. Yeah,
Yes,
done.
and
His hair
by
is
the way, I
iconic.
think on the chat, I think the only person who can answer it probably quicker than all of us also would be Shivam, especially if
Yeah,
he's
of
from
course.
the
I mean,
South
the
American
Argentinian,
contingent.
South
So
American. Yeah.
I hope this is visible now.
I
Is it?
can't,
आ
I
गया, ये आ
can't.
गया. थोड़ा zoom
It
कर
has
ले.
a pause
This
button.
is very simple. This is very simple.
This so Bodo because
I
chess
can't
के
see
is it
properly.
नहीं दिख रहा है
नहीं
अभी
थोड़ा
दिख
हाँ
रहा
बस
है
बस 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 थोड़ा हाँ बस
so because yeah we have we have Slavia and Sparta Prague Cardinals in to play for both clubs
Yeah,
any
I
Is
of
it
was just
Karel
those
going to say.
Poborski?
huh
Is it Poborski?
yeah I think you might be right
That
Anubhuti
is
might be
like
right
the
Wow,
shortest
that was
answer.
wow,
quick
Anubhuti. Well,
Karel Poborski let me pull up the image former of course for many people
Man
might know
United,
him
Man
Yeah.
United,
well done, Anubhuti.
Benfica,
Amazing.
Lazio.
sorry
क्या बोला अजय?
sorry
You got voice cut हुआ.
कोई तो
I former Benfica, Man United, and Lazio player, obviously,
yeah
obviously.
Of course. No wonder
Carol
Anubhuti
Popovsky,
got
of
it
course. No,
so
no,
quickly.
she's
Yeah.
definitely right. क्योंकि
By the way,
Lazio,
if you guys remember, proper Diego Forlan का lookalike लगता था ये. Proper एक time पे तो
Yes,
Diego Forlan
yes, you're
lookalike
right.
लगता
You're
था.
right.
yeah, look alike, definitely. मतलब he looks definitely very similar. And
Look
Anubhuti
at the
spot
first
on.
picture.
Yeah, that again, iconic jersey, iconic hairstyle. By the way, insane. A very good player back in the day. Power. So these are ऐसे हम लोग और खेलते रहेंगे, guys. Like there'll be much more of this. We are trying to start that tic tac toe wala edition as well, but we'll just try to get more
Now
time
I
for
think
that.
Ajay we should do this every time stream के बाद we'll get this ये दो करेंगे. We'll also all of us Anubhuti you also try finding. So you know it is this is a fun game. I think I
Oh
one
yeah,
of those guys
just
though.
so just one thing. So Shivam had sent me a couple on WhatsApp. एक तो बहुत tough था. That Shivam had to give me hints. But एक में he didn't blur the clubs. वो कुछ हुआ नहीं. But it was very easy. It was Thomas Rincon. So it was easy
Ah,
to guess. But yeah, the second one
Rincon.
was tough, man. Second one was tough. तुम्हारा ही defender था.
वो बेचारा भाई अभी जय बोल रहा है कि मुझे बेलोटी भाई उसके लिए थोड़ा रिसेंट भी लाना
हाँ,
for
तो
the newer
next
मैं
audience.
बोल रहा हूँ
थोड़ा
recent players थोड़े
recent
लाने
players
पड़ेंगे
करेंगे.
अपने को.
No, or let's do
Recent
one
players.
thing. Let's do a cross. No, yeah, recent. We थोड़ा 2010s अपने को चलेगा. तो 2010. But yeah,
Done.
let's keep it mixed also, even for some PL clubs. ये Poborski तो I think
Yeah.
ये तो अनुभूति के syllabus में था proper. But great guy.
Proper.
But Slavia and Sparta
Yeah.
boss Cardinals in.
Yeah, Sparta and Slavia's Cardinals. Just last comments ले लो अजय भाई मेरे मैं ना just एक मुझे शायद टिक टैक तो मिला है. It's already ready made. I'm just trying to make it Serie A edition. Just until then you take the comments.
Yeah. Good one, Geet. Of course, commiserations. But yeah, I mean, hope that you subscribe to our community and you're watching all the Serie A videos.
I love what she wrote. Save the world from noise pollution. I we know totally sentiment. Geet, I think we had a discussion with Pratyush Bayern fans, and
Yes,
just
yes.
like Serie A fans, Ajay, Anubhuti, Param, Bayern also don't get that. The fans don't get the due credit. The club does not
Right.
get the due credit. They get just it's a legendary club, but they're not taken seriously. So we totally understand. Guys, by
We
the way,
all do.
I have to go now. मेरे को
No worries, no
emergency.
worries.
I'll have to.
So,
You guys
Chetan,
please stay
quickly,
there.
your F1 team and driver, quickly before you go.
Oh, but you guys watch current के all time.
All time.
Anytime.
आज ही बोला यार. I'm a Mika Hakkinen fan. Like always been the McLaren Mercedes with West written behind. I think it's iconic. That West was iconic. And when the entire world was supporting Michael Schumacher, when Mika Hakkinen won, it was like मैं collar ऊपर करके चल रहा था. But for me, and for me, whatever people say, I still think goated wise, I know people will. I'll go against the whole audience here. I think no one is more goated than Michael Schumacher. I would hate to say it because he's a bitter rival, but I feel
Fair.
Michael, when it comes to driving in the range and also my forever F1 team, I'm attached to McLaren Mercedes. अभी जो जुदा हो गए तो और दर्द हो रहा है, लेकिन पहले एक थे तो मीका हैकिनेन, एंड एज अजय सेड मीका के बाद किमी को सपोर्ट करना आई थिंक वो एक कंपल्शन था. आई हैड टू सपोर्ट किमी, यू नो. But if you ask me, I like Ferrari. Ferrari के साथ तो Italian connection है. Charles Leclerc, I'm a huge fan right now. I just hope he should win a title. Anubhuti is probably dying to hear that.
Yeah, completely.
By the way, my sister is a massive Charles fan. So yeah, she's a Ferrari fan. She had to be because वो Italian connection नहीं होता तो बुरा लगता.
By the way, loving the banter between Barca and Bayern fans in the comments. मतलब अच्छा है, मतलब as long as it doesn't get toxic.
But
I just need...
Ajay, what is your all-timer?
I've said this again. For me, it was again like you. My brother was a Schumacher fan, so I had to pick Hakkinen. And then after Hakkinen retired, McLaren Mercedes replaced him with Kimi after his rookie season in Sauber. So I became a Kimi Raikkonen fan. उसके बाद में it's been phases because I like Lewis Hamilton. I like the Jensen Button and the entire Braun GP season. It was refreshing to see whatever the controversy may be. Also, I really love Giancarlo Fisichella, Roman through and through. He's a Romanista.
Fisichella.
All right. Another fun fact: Daniel Kvyat, the Russian driver, he's also a Romanista. He's been spotted at many games at the Olympico. तो मेरे को तो यार ये थोड़ा ये है आज के टाइम में
support Max Verstappen so much more.
By the way,
I like the McLaren team.
Rubens Barrichello was a Milan, not a Milan fan, but he was Milan biased because a lot of Brazilian contingent was playing for it, and he was spotted at San Siro many times. So, इसलिए Rubens, but I think if you have to ever tell me the greatest teammate ever has to be Rubens Barrichello. उसके जैसा teammate कभी देखा नहीं है. And Michael Schumacher के इतने titles है, probably you can thank Rubens Barrichello for a few. I think Anubhuti is a hardcore Ferrari fan. I think Anubhuti knows कितने sacrifices बेचारे ने किए हुए हैं. अभी यार कोई नहीं सुनेगा. But यार एक चीज है guys, it's too sanitized for me to like F1 anymore. यार वो आज ही हम लोग ने बात किए थे अनुभूति अजय, especially do you remember when Michael Schumacher ran to hit David Coulthard with his helmet? ये सब अभी नहीं देखने को मिलेगा. वही तो रियल मजा था F1 का. But yeah, very good note मैं am going on. Mika Hakkinen की याद ताजा हो गई ऐसे वो icon. But by the way guys, I have it's with my friend right now. West car. It's been almost 25 years. I still have that car. It's रोज धोते हम लोग उसको से पानी से.
I still have a poster of
send me your location
somewhere.
Okay, Anubhuti, please send me your locations.
Oh, by the way, Ajay, and let's not forget, in 2001 when F1 had come to India, तभी बॉम्बे में स्पोर्ट्स बार था, CEOs था उधर. I hope you remember. उधर BMW Williams का एक पूरा सेट था और वेस्ट का Mercedes का था. My friend bought a cap. We both chipped in 2000 each, 4,000 rupees का कैप लिया था. I swear वो मेरे फ्रेंड ने लिया, वो रोने लगा था कैप लेके because it was such a prized possession. उसकी शादी में वो कैप पहन के आया था वो उसकी शादी में. So
not to forget Williams, BMW were the real contenders. Ralph Schumacher, Juan
Pablo Montoya changed F1 forever, I feel, with his aggressiveness.
They had the fastest car. They had the fastest engine.
Yeah, amazing.
Michael Schumacher used to win with a car that was not technically the fastest, or at least
exactly.
Not the
that is why my respect for Michael is amazing, because Ferrari कुछ जीत नहीं रही थी. Mika Hakkinen का domination तोड़ने के लिए he went so much into the car himself. How much he worked on it. I think it doesn't happen now. People don't forget Ferrari was made by Michael Schumacher, of course, अपने era के time में. But anyways, guys, I think परम बोर हो गया है. Anyways, I'm going, guys.
Great talking to you. Comments देख रहा हूँ भाई सबके इधर साइड पे. I'm not much into F1, like I'm mostly into table tennis, badminton, more of that.
It's so evident that Param will be on a niche spot. I think I won't be surprised. Param बोलेगा I watch golf also. Like it's Param.
Golf is not my thing. I don't like that sport. Sorry, for me that's controversial. For me that's not a sport, but that's a whole different discussion. But
okay, by the way, just to tell you before I go, I think Pitlane Chronicles बोल रहा था my 2 cents on Arsenal. I'll just give it, guys. If you
Bolo,
guys
bolo,
have no
हाँ, you
problem.
should say that.
I always liked Arsenal. I think Pitlane, I've always been an Arsenal fan since Wenger days, and at least last season, जो bottle हुआ था, of course, I was very upset. Should have won the league. I see a different Arsenal this season. वो एक compactness दिख रहा है. He pragmatic football दिख रहा है. So he's got another element into his game which I really like. I'll be very honest. I had no doubts Arsenal are going to beat Real Madrid because Real Madrid एक बहुत ही extra attacking team है. जैसे इंटर को अच्छा लगता है to play against an attacking team, वैसे Arsenal को भी अच्छा लगता है. And I was pretty confident about. मैंने I think अजय को बोला था Bernabeu. I was very confident Arsenal might even win this game. Draw तो कर लेगी. So I feel now that if you face Inter again, I think even for PSG, I would put Inter kind of favorites because PSG kind of fade after 60, 70 minutes. They were in a soup. They got little pressed. They were under pressure. Vitinha was under pressure. थोड़ा दिख रहा था for the first time. You pin their wingers out. Timber is great. So I have a really strong feeling that जो by the way did you guys सब लोग busy थे लेकिन एक टिम्बर का रन था और लुइस केली का एक रन था in say Bernabeu. It was like he was walking in the park. It was great. And coming of age, Saka, kudos to him, missed a penalty, scored a goal, very cold celebration. So Pitlin, I think एक compactness जो Arsenal, I think Partey is missing. वो मेरिनो को उधर खिला लेगा. I think Kai Havertz should be back for the semi-finals. I don't know, but again, you have to give it to Merino. जो up and down कर रहा है. Merino was playing as a striker. He played in the defensive duty भी खिला. He's actually a center midfielder. I am telling you, I have a very strong feeling. Pit lane, it's Arsenal versus Inter in the finals, and this time you never know. Arsenal will learn because they are learning over a period of time. But Inter, of course, will be more prepared. So Arsenal Madrid, I really had no doubts after the 3-0 win. Of course, amazing 3-0 win. So my 2 cents that if this continues, Arsenal are title contenders EPL next season. I think Liverpool did very well, but Arsenal, if they continue this peak form जो कर रहे हैं, जो compactness, I think they can win the league also. So my 2 cents on it.
Yeah, I think definitely we've answered the Arsenal Real Madrid. I think Ajay भाई मेरे को एक last वाला मिला. We can close on that note. एक quiz मिला है. If anybody wants to partake in that, is quite simple actually. This should be relatable also. It's more modern day थोड़ा. So I found it.
आदिदेव क्या यार, ये तो तुम लोग जीत गए हो यार. Okay, bye, sir. I think I need to go now. तुम लोग continue with this game.
Definitely leaving. I will moderate this. I think it can be Ajay bhai versus Anubhuti, and you guys
I just play this. I think it is too interesting. I'll play this and go.
Exactly. So then we can have it like whatever whoever wants to compete random. I won't. मतलब मैं moderate कर सकता हूँ.
Milan, Lazio. I'll go with Bilia.
Milan, Lazio, Bilia, whatever. एक आप इधर एक. Who wants to compete against him? By the way, मतलब वो तो decide करो. मतलब ऐसे ही.
There are all 4 of our clubs. I think Anubhuti, you go for it since you're new.
So you want me to guess all the players, right?
Not all. It's tic-tac-toe. So it's like if Chintana has gone for Milan and Lazio, he said Lucas Bilia. So you'll have to find a copy. You have to guess the right combination to win, obviously, eventually.
So Rudiger for the first one, which is Roma and Germany.
Wow, even I thought it was the same one.
So
Roma, Lazio would be Pedro.
Yeah. No, wait. You have to guess one by one. You can't go like that. So like obviously Ajay bhai.
हाँ बोल अजय तू इंटर मेरे साथ आजा.
नहीं अजय bhai is moderating with me. Ajay bhai just keep track. Anubhuti for Rudiger, Germany, Roma, AC Milan के लिए Lucas and Lazio के लिए Lucas Bilia. Chintan bhai, your turn.
I can go anyways, right?
No, it's your turn. We are doing turn-wise. No, like normal noughts and crosses. We're not giving it to like. We're doing it turn by turn, na? Normally. That's how it goes.
Professionally keeping track.
Inter, I think Inter, Lazio, I'll go with Crespo.
That's a correct answer.
Yeah, that's correct. So now, obviously,
Anubhuti, last lane.
No, wait. So just in case to avoid confusion, Anubhuti, you'll have to go for Roma Lazio ka player to block him from winning.
To Pedro.
Yeah, to block. Perfect, you got it.
Pedro, so she's blocked it. But Chintan, now you have to guess Torino, Roma. Roma, Torino to stop her from winning.
I know this.
I also know this.
This is easy.
Very
Yeah.
easy.
Chintan
I
bhai,
didn't get it.
modern day
आवाज क्या
player.
है?
Chintan bhai, you'll have to guess Roma versus Torino to stop Anubhuti from winning because she has Germany, Roma, she has Roma, Lazio. She stopped you from winning when she guessed Milan, Lazio, and
Yes.
Inter, Lazio. So you have to guess
Wait,
Roma,
can you
Torino.
show me this? मेरे को what is what? I didn't understand.
No, it's not. Again, I have not
Why
marked
my
it here,
voice
but
is
This
मेरे को
side.
voice crack हो रहा है.
I think उनका internet is not fine. So क्या करे अजय भाई क्या करे? Chintan bhai, can you hear us?
I'll take this one for Chintan. Tony Sanabria.
Sanabria or Sanabria Roma में था, right?
Of course.
Yeah, correct. So you could have said Belotti, by the way.
Belotti. I was going to go for Belotti.
Yeah.
मेरे को
So
voice
so
तुम
far
लोग का ना
people.
आधा crack हो रहा था आधा आ रहा है मतलब I can hear half part.
I took your turn, Chintan. It's okay. I
Yeah.
saved you.
So people did say Belotti in the comments. But so now where we are is I think Anubhuti. This is very hard because I can't mark it somewhere. So
I
we
can
get
mark it if you can see this.
कहाँ पर?
Can you restart it?
See the camera if you can see it.
Oh, you have.
Wait.
All right.
So see,
I need to.
अबे इंटर वर्सेस जर्मनी तो अपना और the legend कर देना यार.
No, wait. It is Anubhuti's
बताओ.
turn. No, Ajay
Okay.
bhai played on your behalf.
Okay.
Ajay bhai played on. It is
Bye.
Anubhuti's
I
turn.
think I will have to go. तो अजय तू ये finish कर लेना boys. I am bouncing.
Okay, I'll play for you. चल ठीक है.
Sure. No worries.
Bye
See you
guys.
soon.
Bye bye.
But yeah, we Anubhuti, your turn. So we have finished the bottom row. We've finished the
Yeah.
left row पूरा. Basically चार बचे हैं वो last right के पूरे चार बचे हैं. What do you think? What would you pick?
Yeah. So this is for Milan and Germany, right?
Yeah. There is a modern day player to be fair who's. I mean, I won't give any more hints. Yeah, अजय भाई ने मस्त screen पे डाल के रखा है.
हाँ. I remember. It's Boateng, Jerome Boateng.
Not Jerome.
No, Jerome was not like he
Exactly.
was German, but he's not like he did not play for Germany. Did his brother play for Milan as well?
No, but he's not German though. He represented
Ghana.
Ghana.
Exactly. Then
There is a people are giving it in the comments, but we can't look at the comments. Like
yeah, I can't
I mean,
look at the comments anyway.
yeah, I know people are answering, but if you want like क्या करें? Let the comments take this one, let her help. Let the comments help her, Ajay bhai.
Fine.
Malik Theo, as
Malik
people have
Thiaw.
said, current AC Milan player, Malik Theo. So
Oh.
Milan, yeah, so we have Anubhuti now. So Ajay bhai, you have to guess Torino Milan to stop her from winning.
No, I have to guess Inter and Germany to stop her from winning.
How Inter Germany? Oh yeah, wait,
Inter.
either way, wait, can you show that again?
Yeah, I can show that now. And I have Lothar Matthäus right up there.
Yeah, Lothar Matthäus, somebody had said it
Matthäus is
earlier as well. So wait, can
So
you show that again?
now Anubhuti has to guess Inter Torino from Chintan by winning this.
Yeah, Inter Torino. This is easy. Inter Torino is quite simple. Yeah.
Yeah. But
Come on, Anubhuti. This somebody has actually already answered this in the comments.
yeah, someone should have. Inter Torino sounds very simple, but I'm not able to think of one person.
Shivam spamming it, but we can avoid looking at it. Abhijit using it, of course. क्या बोल Anubhuti? Any Inter Torino? Abhijit has actually given a very different answer, a true one as well. Think.
Recent, long back.
There is actually even a player Ajay already named. You can't use the same names, but yeah. If you want someone to answer, definitely that is there. There is one more existing player at Torino currently as well. If you want the crowd to help you, there is an answer there. If you want that can be done.
No, it's fine. I can't remember anyone Inter Torino.
So Shivam has answered it. If you want, said Ansaldi is one. There is Lazzaro who currently plays for Torino. He was a former Inter player.
Valentin Lazaro. I was going for Valentin Lazaro only.
Sanabria, who formerly played for Inter as well and
Yes.
is at Torino. But now Milan Torino, basically it's anyways nobody has won this, but Milan Torino, you guys have Ajay bhai has to guess.
Ricardo Rodriguez.
Yeah, Ricardo Rodriguez done. I mean that's our. If you can just show it again, Ajay bhai. If you can just complete.
Chintan Bhai is the winner.
Yay.
He won or is it a draw?
No, it's Chintan Bhai wins it.
Oh, he won.
Yes.
Fair play. No, it was a close one. But can you just show that again once? Yeah, Chintan Bhai won it. Oh, okay. So
Chintan Bhai won it on both angles, like the Valentin Lazaro and the Ricardo Rodriguez one.
Yeah. Oh, so yeah. I guess ये guys हम लोग थोड़ा better plan करेंगे एकदम last minute मुझे मिला, so don't mind that, but I guess that was fun as well. Again, I'll just take a couple of comments and we'll close this. Guys, anything if you want to say quickly in the comments, बता दो. We'll otherwise any closing thoughts, Ajay bhai, Anubhuti? This stream went on very long, but still enjoyable nonetheless. Any closing thoughts you guys want to give?
No, I think just keep on supporting, like करो, share करो, subscribe करो.
आवाज थोड़ा low आ रहा है.
I'm saying like करो, share करो, subscribe करो, and keep on supporting. Content आता रहेगा. And yeah, we'll do bingo, we'll do other games.
Definitely.
Planned. A lot of shots also are on its way. So yeah, I think that's about it. Yeah. Serie A देखो GXR World में. पता नहीं कितने दिन देखने मिलेगा, but जितने दिन है देख लो.
Yeah, Anubhuti, anything you want to say?
No, I think similar. Like it's good to have कि इतने सारे लोग support कर रहे हैं. Like we've reached a good number, and it's really good to see so many people join today and be involved right till this long. When even one of our panelists had to get substituted, but to have so many people here commenting, playing with us, बहुत मजा आया, and hopefully lot more of this, and hopefully Serie A goes much further, and we get to really celebrate on the European field and everywhere.
Yeah, well said. I think I can only agree with what both Anubhuti and Ajay bhai said. Again, if anybody has any comments, I think people have said Baroni 3-0 up. His tactic to stop playing and let the opponent dictate the game, it always fails. Small club manager, quite harsh. But I think we'll discuss all this again later. Victor says Forza Nerazzurri. Tricky Mickey's Crimson Crusaders waiting for you. Not my problem. You are already writing of PSG, bhai. वो तेरा problem है, वो मेरा problem नहीं है. Write PSG off at your own peril. But guys, we will. Swarnim bhai says great stream. Thank you guys again. All I can say is like, share, and subscribe. Ajay bhai, if you want to show your channel, plug your channel, please do so. Floor is yours.
I will just share the link because the stream the tab is a bit slow in loading. बहुत short content है, but this is the link. You can go to YouTube and just search this and you can subscribe.
You can please do subscribe to Ajay bhai's channel. Obviously, he's putting out top-notch content as well. हमारे से तो content आता रहेगा. More shots planned. I'll try to put out a Sassuolo related shot this weekend because obviously Sassuolo, everyone's nightmare, is back in the Serie A. तो उन पे तो एक shot बनता ही है, and they've done it in dominant fashion. तो mostly ये weekend पे try करूँगा डालने का. There's more content. We are planning a video on Quagliarella story, the legend that is of Italian football, Fabio Quagliarella. उस पे एक स्टोरी वीडियो प्लान हो रहा है. बहुत और कंटेंट प्लान्ड है. सो अगेन एज आई ऑलवेज से लाइक शेयर एंड सब्सक्राइब, शो अस द सपोर्ट. लेट्स ग्रो दिस कम्युनिटी टुगेदर. द Serie A season is coming to a close. The season in general is coming to a close, and then the podcast will have a lot more ideas. So definitely like, share, and subscribe, and we will see you guys very soon on the flip side. Ciao ciao.